We got a jam-packed show of QnColb here today. We're going to talk about the Browns a lot. We're going to talk about some of these injuries. We're also going to talk about whose season is actually over again, one of our favorite reoccurring segments on this show. We're going to talk about why Kenny Pickett stinks. Recent draft picks that are better prospect than Kenny Pickett. Myles Garrett for MVP. Is this thing for real? The future for DTR, the Browns in this defense. Is Kevin Stefanski or Andrew Berry going to be coach or executive of the year? We're going to preview this Browns-Broncos game, and we're also going to tell you how you can already tell they about to do some enormously goofy shit with Caleb Williams during the draft process. I already smell the plays, Cole. We know what those plays are. We know what they about to do. We just saw them do it to CJ Stroud. It's happening again, bruh. They are running the plays. They are absolutely running the plays on Caleb Williams. This shit is incredible. It's like they're actively wrong about CJ Stroud, but then they're like, you know what? We still gonna run these plays, dog. Yeah, you got to give them that resiliency. This draft industrial complex is a I can't say that word. They're going to get this demonetized. This draft industrial complex is sure something, right? It's nuts, man. It's nuts. But all that and more, let's drop the intro. All right, man, we say this every week, man. We say this every week, and I get tired of saying it. Why do people think it's a good idea to count this Browns team out? Why does every other franchise in existence get the benefit of the doubt before us this year? Like, I'm not saying historically. Okay, I get the historical argument. But like this year, they done proved it 2 different times, 3 different times, like 4 different times. It feels like they'd have been like, hey, man, this is who we are. And everybody's like, yeah, but the Steelers do that better than you, despite the fact that they don't have better wins than you do in certain situations. And they got blown out by San Francisco at home, and we beat them with PJ and Walker. But nonetheless, it's like nothing we do actually happens. Like, are the Browns the only non-canon football team in the NFL? Like, are we under some kind of like postseason suspension where our wins don't count?
You know what it is, though. I feel like everybody knows what it is because you tweeted about this, and I feel like everybody's acknowledged it. Before the season started, everyone said that we were going to be bad. Like, everyone said that we were going to be bad. Like, we saw
6-11 was a very common prediction for a team that had Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson. Like, these were healthy Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson predictions.
That's not even what bothered me. What bothered me was, first of all, they were 7-10 last year.
Yes.
They were 7-10 last year. If you saw what they did in the offseason and you consider yourself a very serious person who gets paid to analyze NFL football, there's no way you thought this team was going to be worse than last year with better players and a 4th place schedule. Like, it was all in front of you. Like, okay, yeah, they're going to have a better year. They're going to have a winning season.
And the thing that gets lost, like, everybody was so wrapped up into like what they felt like Deshaun might or might not have looked like in those last 6 games. It's like they finished the year on a 3-3 run. Like, they finished the year better than they started it. They started 4-7. They finished 3-3, right? So there were signs of like, okay, they're getting some stuff together. And then they make a lot of good moves in the offseason. And then people are like, yeah, those are good moves. They made some good moves. But if Deshaun Watson isn't elite, this team's just going to be 6-11. How? How do you get there? How did you get there? And we said this at the beginning of the season. How did people get themselves here? And you know how they got themselves here. They were hoping that the Browns went 6-11, not actually thinking it would happen, because you don't see them backpedaling like, oh, wow, they're really surprising me. They're shocking me. I can't believe that they're this good. No, they ain't doing that kind of backpedal because they knew they were wrong when they predicted this. They were just crossing their fingers and hoping on what? Karma? Is that what they were hoping on? They're going to get karma and then go 6-11. That's what I want.
Because we know karma definitely exists in professional sports. We know that. Absolutely exists. Definitely a thing.
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger never had anything good happen to him after things came out about him. Right after that, he definitely didn't
Or
get
Ray
a
Lewis.
ceremonial walk off. Ray Lewis didn't win the Super Bowl.
Go out winning the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? He went out on top.
Yeah.
Ray Lewis.
Went out. Now he's a historical figure in American culture. This is all stuff. Mike Tyson, seems to have a good run right now. It's weird to me that people feel like that, like whenever something bad happens to the Browns, it's karma, but it's like, it's football.
Hey,
there was an injury.
The funniest part about that? They talk about bad things happening to the Browns because of karma. Bro, bad things were happening to us before we even had Deshaun Watson. What are you talking about?
More bad things were happening to us before we got Deshaun Watson.
What are you talking about?
That's the thing that drove me nuts about it. It was like, were you not around? What do you mean bad things are happening now? Did they not? I swear to God, people didn't watch the Baker Mayfield era, man. Like, come on.
They only saw 2020. They only saw 2020. They only saw the playoff win. That's all they saw.
Even in 2020, remember the one game we could have had a shot at first place, but we got everybody in the wide receiver room to get COVID like the day before the game.
That's the game
then we lost to the Jets. Okay. Nah, man.
Hey, man. Hey, quick aside. We got some terrible losses to the Jets.
But that 2020 loss was I think we were legitimately, I forget who it was that we were throwing out there, but I don't think that man's ever played an NFL game again. You remember that? It was like 80 or something. Not 80, but some dude. I don't remember who it was. Honestly, I have to look.
That should just
I want to look it up now. It was bad. It was bad. 2020 Browns Jets. I want to see who the leading receivers were for the Browns in that game. 2020, December 27th.
It got to be Jamarcus Bradley.
Oh, I think that's who it was. Okay, receiving Jamarcus Bradley, 5 receptions, 60 yards. Now, Austin Hooper did play 7 receptions, 71 yards. One of his better games as a Cleveland Brown. And literally after Jamarcus Bradley, you don't see another receiver until Marvin Hall, 1 reception, 12 yards. It is Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Harrison Bryant, David Njoku. Remember when Harrison Bryant used to get more targets than David Njoku?
Can't believe that was happening.
Yeah, I mean, at the time you could. Because David's come a long way. He's come a long way, right? But yeah, Andy Janovich got a target in that game.
And Andy Janovich, the fullback?
Yes.
Ooh.
Which is to say, that was a down bad game. Yeah, Joe, we really thought he was something for 2 minutes. He wears the same number as Austin Watkins too. That's like a legacy preseason number for real. You know what I mean? It's 7 at LSU for the preseason. But in all seriousness, the karma argument never made sense, because if this is what we're getting because we have Deshaun Watson, then what happened with Lamarcus Bentley? Right? Remember that LaCharles Bentley? Ended his career in practice. Oh, come on. Oh, this is bad karma. And then it was really unfortunate because it created this ugly environment where you're talking about karma for the Browns getting injured. And one thing I can never stand is fans of football, and especially people who profit off of talking about football, celebrating an injury. That is so disrespectful. You literally make your living off of the work that these dudes do, whether you like them or not, sacrificing their body, sacrificing their well-being for their future, their ability to do stuff with their kids in the future. All of that is on the line every Sunday for every football player. We have seen tragedy happen on the football field before. And you're going to celebrate an injury because you don't like a player? Forget what you feel about that player. It's about respect to the game at that point. Respect to what is making you earn a living. And if you have that little respect for it, I really just don't have that much respect for people who can operate in such a way, right? It's kind of what bugged Shannon Sharp about the whole thing with Skip Bayless, where it's like, you don't even have a base level of respect for the work that these people do. Because you're so worried about getting your dunk in, right? Like you getting your shit in, right? Everybody want to get their shit in. So they tweeting these dumbass tweets about it's karma. Yeah, I don't feel bad for the Browns. And what happened a day later?
Joe Burrow gone for the season. Literally like 24 to 48 hours.
This shit ain't funny. Like, this shit ain't funny. It's not funny to nobody. This is not a game. Like, why are you doing this? And now you get fans like, oh, well, I guess it's karma back to y'all. I'm like, look, just let them people be stupid, ignore them. But it was just ridiculous that people were willing to disrespect the game and show their disrespect for the game that much in order to get a dunk on somebody. And it's been the story of the coverage of the Cleveland Browns. People are so flagrantly hard for like the Deshaun Watson dunk. Like they are so flagrantly just overly excited about it, dog. Like it's ridiculous at this point. Like, they just want it so bad, dog. Like, am I lying?
No, you know what the craziest thing is? If you've been watching us, y'all know how we feel about him as a person. Like y'all already know. Like we
are heavy users of on the field.
On the field. We not rocking with buddy like that. Like let's keep it a bean. We're not rocking with buddy like that. But even still, bro, we get annoyed with it. It's like, come on, dog. Like y'all being crazy about it at this point. And what bothers us the most is that regardless of how you feel about him, and I just thought this was funny, that comeback against the Ravens, they didn't say anything. Didn't say one word about it. I'm talking radio silence. Didn't acknowledge it. It was just talking about what the Ravens didn't do. 14 for 14 in the second half. Regardless of how you feel about the man, he played really well. Comeback victory against the best team in the NFL at the time. You know what I'm saying? Quote unquote.
Well, no, they back to being the best team in the NFL after beating a hurt Bengals team with no Joe Burrow. Did you notice that one too? It was like, hey, the Browns beat them. Okay, turn around Thursday. Ravens back. Oh, okay. What happened last week in Baltimore?
Okay. You see what I'm saying? That's annoying to me. Like, bro, like you gotta at least be able to acknowledge like what was going on. But as soon as he got hurt, everybody wanted to talk about it. Oh, the Browns are done. This is the worst trade in the NFL. What are they going to do now? And what I find very interesting is that everyone kept saying how bad he is, how much he stinks, the trade was awful, they're terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you feel that way and they were winning games in spite of him, why do you think that they're done now if he was that bad?
Here's What's the thing, too. Yeah. But then he goes down, the season's over. So on some level, you're acknowledging, oh, it's much easier for the Browns to win games with Deshaun Watson back there.
So which one is it?
Yeah. Like, is it that he's an integral part to this team, or that he's holding the team back? Because I've heard that argument. Brett Coleman, remember he said that the Browns would be better off with Case Keenum at quarterback. Yes, this is somebody who claims to watch film, and I've seen his work. He's usually good. He's so blindsided by it. Case Keenum, he said this. This was a thing that he said.
He said that right before the comeback, too. Now he said that right before the comeback. That goes back
to my original point, because you're too damn horny for the dunk, right? Why are you doing that in the first quarter? There's 4 quarters to a game. You got all day to tweet about it. Nobody's even watching this game, but you just saw that 6 of 20, and you're like, oh, I can't help myself. Let me get a dunk on Deshaun. And this is not the first time it's happened, Cole. Remember Tennessee after that throw? Oh, everybody got their shit off on Deshaun. Nobody mentioned what happened afterwards. It
happened last year. Remember the Commanders game?
Yes. Everybody it's like just wait for the game to. And the thing is, even if you don't like Deshaun, you're doing yourself no favors by being this eager to it, because now people could go, see, this month not serious. Look what he just tweeted. Look what he tweeted. And now you look very unserious, and less people take you seriously that might have been inclined to take you seriously. Like, you're not even doing your agenda a favor because you're too thirsty. And let's be real. You don't even got to reach with Deshaun. It ain't like he been lights out. Like
Exactly, bro. He didn't even been that great, dog. What are y'all doing?
he ain't been lights out. Like he's had some good moments. You ain't gotta reach. There's there was no reason to ever reach, but people just are so they want it. They want to get those retweets and get told how good of a person they are because they're saying like it's just they're so addicted to it that they can't control themselves to having a reasonable take about it. Even people who are usually reasonable, they just find themselves out of control. Like if you ever say that Case Keenum is better than having anybody, I can't take you serious. DTR is better than having Case Keenum. Like
at least DTR can move.
And he get them throws there. You see Case Keenum. Case Keenum throw the ball 3 miles per hour. Like, what are you talking about, Case Keenum? This is just such a unserious world we live in. Look, he goes out with the injury. People act like that comeback didn't happen. What did you see? A bunch of video essays, a bunch of articles on? I told you it was the worst trade of all time. It's such a bad trade. And knowing how this has gone, the Browns are going to start out the season 8-0 next year with Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb back. Like knowing how this is gone, like this is the equivalent to tweeting it out in the first half. They're like, oh yeah, this contract is cooked. This trade is cooked. They gonna start out 8-0 and get the 1 seed next year, something stupid like that. Because like it's just this is how it's going every time. Like just fucking wait. That's all. Like just if it's a failure at the end of 3 years, we'll be like, damn, that trade was bad. Let's see how the team builds or fixes themselves after that. That's all you got to do is just fucking wait. But nobody wants to wait. Everybody wants to get their shit off right now. Colb. Like they cannot wait. They refuse to wait. And it makes people look stupid. It does. Like, and that's the thing that's been around this team, the energy that's been around it from a national standpoint, and why the Browns cannot get an increment of credit nationally. Like you got shout out to Mike Florio and Chris Sims of all people. These are people who I know for a fact do not mess with a single thing that the Browns have done with the quarterback position since 2021. But hold on, wait. No, I'm gonna get there. But they've given this team credit. And when we're at the point to where Mike Florio is the most reasonable person in the room, it's gone haywire. It's gone haywire.
Mike Florio. We on the pod giving credit to Mike Florio. Because the rest of y'all can't just say that the Browns are good. Browns are good. They're good. It is what it is, dog. They're good.
It's just I don't look. They beat the Ravens in Baltimore, who people are going back to saying are the best team in the NFL again. You beat the best team in the NFL on the road, coming back from 14 points, and people found a way to make that a negative. Like think about that. Who else does that ever happen to? You came back from 14, people are like, well, Deshaun didn't throw the ball deep. Okay. Meanwhile, I got to hear Roquan Smith get compared to Ray Lewis because he had 22 tackles, none of which fucking matter.
Hey, why you hating on Ray Lewis 2.0? Why you hating on Ray Lewis 2.0?
No, stop it. Well, he closer to CJ Mosley than Ray Lewis. And honestly, I think CJ clears. Like, let's be real about it. Let's be real. 118 tackles and 3 of them are for loss is just crazy. Like, think about that. 118 tackles, 3 for loss. Come on, dog. You know what that is. It's some Joe Schobert bullshit. Like, you know what it is. You know what it is. Nobody, Remember, everyone's like, Joe Schobert's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. We was just sitting here like, yeah, okay. Hope somebody else signs him. Like,
Steelers did.
Yep. And what he ended up being, Joe Schobert. Right? And I'm not saying he's Joe Schobert, but these numbers are not that different. Like, these are really like paper tiger numbers, dog. Like, paper tiger. You look at Pat Queen's numbers. Pat Queen got 7 TFLs. Like, 7 TFLs, 3 sacks, That's the motherfucker who balling. Like, I just hate that he gets the credit for everything else going right with the Ravens because he's objectively not that much of a part of their success right now. Like, you can say that Brandon Stevens is better than him at his position. You can say that Hump, when he was healthy, was better than him at his position. You could definitely say Justin Matabuke is better than him at his position. Pat Queen's been better. Kyle Hamilton's been better. Who are you worried about when the Browns played the Ravens? I was worried about Kyle Hamilton. I was worried about Matabuke. Yeah, I was worried about Pat Queen. You know what I didn't think about at all? What we gonna do with Roquan Smith? You know what never mattered in the fourth quarter of that football game? The fact that the Ravens had Roquan Smith. But I gotta hear him get compared to Ray Lewis after he folded in the fourth quarter and didn't do a damn thing about David Njoku putting his chest in his shoulder in his chest. We gotta hear that as Browns fans, that the dude who gave up the push pile is the next Ray Lewis. Meanwhile, we can't even get a damn. The Browns might be good for real after beating the Ravens. That we can't even get that. That's crazy to me.
Dog, it's nuts. They would not give us credit for anything.
Not a single cent of credit.
Except Myles Garrett. They love Myles. So, you know, good for them.
It took them a while. It took them a while to like Myles. Like, think about what it took Myles to do. Myles basically had to become a god of football in order for them to be like, all right. Like, and we're going to talk more about Myles here. Do you realize the last 3 seasons he's been above 22% on pass rush win rate? That means he's winning a rep every set, dog. Like, 1 out of 4 downs, my man's is coming. Like, that's what that means.
And he's getting double team more than any other edge rusher in the league, dog.
Dog, he's been going crazy like this, getting more double T's than ever. T's are just moving the line to him. He's at 25. Last year, with no help, he was at 22. Okay, like, he's 3% improved. Meanwhile, go look at TJ Watt's pass rush win rate numbers. They're not impressive. They're not impressive. He's at like 12, 13. I mean, look, I said it earlier, and I'll continue to say it. TJ Watt's Carmelo, Myles is LeBron. Like, this shit was cute early on, but by the time LeBron got to his second year with the Heat, we knew what it was, and we never revisited it.
Like, let's keep it a B. There's only one fan base in the league that's still trying to have the debate. There's only one. Like, everybody else has acknowledged it.
It's not even just Knicks fans. It's just mellow Knicks fans. Like, not even all Knicks fans be trying to do that, right? It's the mellow hive that be trying to keep it alive. And honestly, it's a small subsection of the mellow hive, because most mellow hive be like, hey, man, we the greatest scorer. Pure score, right? They be saying we the best pure scorer, best one-on-one player. They don't be trying to get off, though. Hey, if you look at the numbers, then Carmelo's actually better than LeBron. They don't try to get this shit off no more. Like, you know what it is. And that don't mean nothing against Carmelo. Hall of Famer, first ballot. He will be in there. I don't know how long y'all wait to get in basketball Hall of Fame. A Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, let the mark on the game. Shout out Melo. But you almost forget he was in the same draft class as Bron, let alone compare to Bron. It was never that. There was the conversation. Should the Cavs have taken Carmelo at 1? It's, hey, man, they really should have took you over Darko, like, at 2. That's where we at with it, man. That's where we at. It's another one of these opinions like Roquan Smith. I was like this with Allen Robinson a couple years ago, too, where I'm just ahead, and I'm going to have to pay the price of being ahead, which is just hearing a lot of people scream at me, you stupid, that's wrong. And then in 2 years, I'll be like, hey, man, remember what I said 2 years ago? Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Roquan Smith, you evaluated the contract now. That's crazy. That's great. My boy Sonny, he covers the Ravens. He was talking, he was like, man, we can't stop the run up the middle. I'm like, if only you traded a second-round pick for somebody who's supposed to stop that kind of thing, right? Like, man.
Oh,
It's like
man.
Roquan get all the credit for all the things the Ravens do, except for the thing that he's supposed to do. He the run stopper. That's Roquan's job. He's supposed to be the run stopper. What's the one thing you know you can do on the Ravens? How am I wrong on this opinion? Like, how do so many people not get this?
Oh, man. How many rushing yards the Browns have against the Ravens?
Like 130 or 140 on them.
Didn't Jerome Ford had 100 yards, didn't he?
Easy chunks, too. Easy chunks all game. You know what ain't happened this week? Jerome Ford doing that. He had 39 yards. Okay? Like,
Be fair, though. Be fair. They was not worried about us throwing the ball. That whole second half. He was like,
were they worried about the Browns throwing the ball in Baltimore in the first half? He was 6 of 20. Like,
had it right where we wanted them. They wasn't ready in that second half. Wasn't ready in that second half at all.
Dog, I'm just saying. I'm gonna get you around on this agenda, brother. Like, don't you worry. You coming around on this agenda. I can already feel you. I can already feel you start to come around on it. Like, damn, is this motherfucker right? Like, I can already feel you, bro. Like, it's all good. You ain't the first one that didn't see the light. I'll get more over. I promise you, Roquan to have more high tackle, no impact games. That's what he do. But let's move on.
High tackle, no impact.
That's what he do. He's the Quail Jackson with the Gucci belt. That's what he is. That's what he is.
To compare him to an NBA player. Who's an NBA player that just get a bunch of points but don't have no impact on the game?
Trae Young?
No, Trae Young have impact on the game.
Who gets a bunch of points, has no impact on the game? I feel like they don't let those players play anymore.
It's got to be somebody, dog. It's got to be somebody.
Because that's what Rudy Gay used to be. You'd be like, oh, Rudy Gay is
he football Rudy Gay?
Football Rudy Gay, yes. He football Rudy Gay. You be like, damn, he balling. Until you watch him, you like, why they don't win? Oh, it's him. Okay, yeah. I guess these numbers aren't what I thought they were. Like, I guess these tackles are like 15 yards downfield. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're paying for. It's DeQuell Jackson with the Gucci belt. It's Anthony Walker plus. That's what they're paying for right now, dog. Like, I promise you could switch out him with Taki. That defense would still be good. They just need somebody to hold that role down. Just be the mic, be where you're supposed to be. Taki can do that. And he ain't doing nothing special. Nothing special this year. He's so much hype, dog. Like, if people swear I'm wrong, I'll wait. I know I'm right about that one. Let's move on, man. These injuries.
Had to get the Roquan hate off real quick.
Ain't even hate, dog. Like, how is it hate when it's just the truth? Like, my
fault.
Yeah,
the Roquan agenda. The Roquan agenda. Had to get that one off.
I gotta get the Roquan word out. You know what I mean? I gotta get the word out. You know, grassroots movement, the internet version of handing out pamphlets on the street. Like, you know what, brother? I think you want to reevaluate how good you think Roquan been for you.
It's like my Joe Woods rant. Like, that's what
I am on the internet handing out pamphlets being like, young brother, have you ever thought about what these tackles actually mean about Roquan Smith play? Or have you just accepted the media's interpretation of these stats? Would you like an alternative view of what you've been forced down your throat?
Hey, call him DeQuell Jackson with a Gucci belt is nuts.
I mean,
I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just a crazy way to put it.
It should be crazier that DeQuell Jackson with the Gucci belt somehow gets compared to Ray Lewis. But the fact that everybody done bought into it for whatever reason, And nobody wants to admit, hey, maybe we should start to buy off of this whole Roquan Smith is Ray Lewis thing. Like, maybe I'm not the crazy one, but I sound crazy. Like the first dude to tell people that the earth wasn't flat. I bet he sounded crazy till that ship went around and came back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just waiting for my ship to return. That's it. I'll wait. It'll be a couple years. I understand it. But that ship gonna come back around on the other side. Like, I know it.
Hey, hey, man, let's get to the next topic, dog. We talk about this all day.
Let's get to it. All right. Injuries. Injuries have been crazy this year. I mean, just in the last few days alone, Joe Burrow out for the season. Mark Andrews out for the season. Deshaun Watson out for the season. It's in one division alone. I'm pretty sure there have been more and more injuries. We haven't seen very much of Jetta on the not the Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings. We haven't seen a lot of these star players. The injuries, man, it's been hell on earth this year for NFL teams. I don't want to ask the question to everybody, like, what do you think is the reason behind the injuries? Because, like, the obvious reason is they playing football. Like, I love how, like, let's talk about how people talk about these injuries, right? Because every time we have these rashes of injuries, people come up and have that conversation of what's going on. But, like, it seems like they dance around the fact that the football. Biggest problem is just, it's football. Like, you want to know what's the best way to avoid injuries for the NFL? Just to not play for a season. Like, that's the only way you could avoid it, because it's just you put on a helmet and pads to play it. No sport where you do that is safe. Like
if you want to have if you want to get specific about why certain guys got injured, like I seen, like, since the Joe Burrow injury, people were talking about the offensive line not being able to protect him, how many hits he's taken behind that offensive line since he's been in Cincinnati. I think that's a worthwhile conversation worth having. But if you're just talking about injuries in general, like, look, man, these guys are huge. They are great athletes. They are super strong, and they run into each other, and it's like mini car crashes multiple times. 17 times a week.
I'm just saying. I don't think we be thinking about it, man. We be sending people to war with less padding than they do on the football field.
For real, dog. It's real out here. People gonna get hurt, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's just
see it, but it's football.
But people were talking about with the Mark Andrews injury, should they ban that tackle for Logan Wilson? And I also think we should think about it from a perspective, because we always think about it when offensive players get hurt, because it's more impactful, right? Fantasy football, you draft offensive players. You don't draft specific defensive players, right? Yeah. So if Myles Garrett or TJ Watt or somebody goes down, it ain't that big of a deal because you got a team's defense. And I think that's how most people kind of process this thing through it. But I do think it's important that we keep in mind defensive player safety, because that shit has just gone by the wayside. Like, a lot of offensive player safety rules have been intact, but we don't ever do defensive player safety rules. And maybe it's because they're delivering the contact, but, like, I think one of the few defensive player safety rules is like, okay, you can't put your crown in the helmet, like just forcing defensive players to stop doing that. But there's a lot.
Get that memo. Kareem Jackson, absolutely not got that memo.
Yeah, he not gonna be playing, dog. That was crazy.
He might get a lifetime ban. He gonna get the Vontae Burfict treatment. So.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting too, because you see these defensive players, and I think they're being penalized because they're so good at making these adjustments, right? Like, we were talking about, how are guys going to ever adjust to rolling off the quarterback when they sack him a couple years ago? They done figured that shit out, dog. Like, I done seen every single defensive tackle in the league be like, yeah, I can roll off, and they done figured that out. They done adapted well to that, right? All the stuff with pass interference, the less physicality you can use, even with the tackling, to the point to where when you see Kareem Jackson do something like that, it is legitimately shocking, because that just doesn't happen at any level in the game anymore, because they've done a really good job adjusting that. And I think that's a good thing overall for the health of the game. But also, I do think the defensive player safety is being taken advantage of. But let's talk about Joe Burrow, because I put a tweet out and the people who had a problem with it were predictable, in my opinion. Like I knew who was going to have a problem with it.
What was the tweet? What'd you say, brother?
I said Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, Andrew Luck. 3 quarterbacks who were great early in their career, but took a lot of hits. By the time they got to 30, it was either wrapped up, about to be wrapped up, or falling off completely. You can categorize it. Obviously, Andrew Luck was wrapped up by 30. Cam Newton was on his way to podcasting. And Carson Wentz is hanging on by a thread. He is the backup for the Los Angeles Rams right now. But clearly, not the same Carson Wentz we talked about in his early days. Then I've said, hey, I see 3 quarterbacks who could be on either side of that program. Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen. They got to figure out, do they want to be on that list or the John Elway, Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger list, right? 3 guys who just completely said, all right, I'm done taking the hits. Like, I'm not about to be helicoptering anymore unless it's the Super Bowl. Like, I'm good. I'm good on those hits. You got to be one of those 3 adjust, or you can go out like you want to. It ain't going to be good. And for Joe Burrow, the benefit for him is Joe Burrow, Josh Allen have time. Hey, Deshaun, dog, I really hope you dedicate this offseason to not taking hits. Because you could easily be on that list with one more injury.
So I guess I would like to differentiate between Deshaun and Joe specifically. Because with Deshaun, it feels like he does a lot of that to himself. And there's a lot of, that's just who he is. That's the way he plays. That would make him successful.
That's why you would be most concerned about him. Yes.
I get that. That's great. But, bro, you got knocked out of the season because you refused to adjust. You can't play. You're not going to be able to play that way. And I'm sure the Browns are going to do whatever they can this offseason to try to better protect him on the offensive line. Because I think there's some holes, especially at left tackle, that they're going to try to clean up. But he has to take it upon himself to say, hey, I can't take hits anymore. I can't do it. Clearly, I can't take these hits anymore because it's going to have a negative impact on my football team. And I don't want to be a detriment to what we're trying to accomplish in Cleveland. And as opposed to Joe Burrow, go ahead.
And something I want to point out with the Deshaun Watson thing. Yeah, I don't think the offensive line this year has been great, but everywhere he's gone, he's taken a ton of sacks, like a super high rate of sacks. He holds the ball. And here's the thing I think is more dangerous. And this is why I'll disagree a little bit with Joe Burrow being a little bit different than that, because Deshaun does it in different ways than Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow still chooses to take those hits, right? Because Deshaun does it in, I'm going to run this thing and cut it up the hash, right? Because that was real cool when Deshaun was doing it in Houston and in Cincinnati. I mean, not Cincinnati, at Clemson. It was like, oh, he a dog at quarterback. He got that dog. We was excited about it now. We don't like that shit no more when he's 28 because he's like, hey, you got like 4 of those hits in you this year. Like, you can't take those hits in week 3. Like, that's just not something you could do. So I can understand that part of it, but here's where I think you leave yourself out for more damage to be taken. When you hold the ball outside the pocket, but behind the line of scrimmage. And Joe Burrow does that shit as much, if not more, than Deshaun Watson. And if you go back, you look at Andrew Luck, same kind of situation where like Andrew Luck, roll out, I'm gonna escape a clean pocket, and I'm gonna just one-on-one these defensive linemen. And Joe loves to do that. Same way that Andrew Luck loved to do that. Same way that Carson Wentz liked to do that. Cam actually didn't like to do that a lot. They just ran him like a backup running back in Carolina. But I would argue that that's the stuff, especially if you're not a bigger dude, that's the stuff you can't take, because the issue isn't getting hit, in my opinion. It's who's hitting you. And when you're doing that, Who's hitting you? Number 90, number 98, number 99, number 58,
all the dudes
57.
Pounds.
Yes, at least 235 and up, right? Like, and want to hit. That's who's hitting you, right? When Deshaun, I did a circle on my film breakdown. I was like, look at the numbers that are hitting Deshaun right now. That's Roquan Smith, Pat Queen, Justin Madubuike, all about to converge on him because he wants to cut this upfield. I don't care if Kyle Hamilton hits him. That ain't going to do shit to Deshaun. But you know what is going to do something to him? Roquan Smith and Justin Madubuike smacking in the middle of him, right? That's not going to be helpful. So that's what I see as an issue for Joe and Deshaun and Josh Allen. It's not that they run. I don't think running equates dangerous because I think Lamar Jackson does a really good job of like, I'm not going to take no hits. Like when Lamar gets hurt, it's because he's holding the ball behind the line of scrimmage, right? Like if you look at his injuries, holding the ball outside the pocket behind the line of scrimmage. That's when he gets hurt. Almost all of his injuries have occurred. He's never got hurt running the ball. And Joe and Deshaun love to do. I comped those two players coming out. I thought that Joe Burrow was very similar to Deshaun. They play very similarly. And that's the big issue with both of them. And I need both of them to understand they are so much better in the pocket. Like if they make this adjustment, they would be better. Their teams would be better. They 100%. Would be better. Like you imagine if Myles Garrett couldn't go off for 5 sacks versus the Bengals, if Joe just stood in there and threw it real quick.
Let's be honest though. Let's be honest. I cut Joe slack because, and this is true, I'm not going to act like it's not true. The offensive line he's playing behind is awful. It's so bad. It's terrible.
Well, I'll go back to the Deshaun Watson argument. Every year they've done stuff to improve that offensive line. Every year we're talking about the same problem. Like they're going to bring in La'el Collins, and then we're going to bring in Orlando Brown, and then we're going to bring in this guy and this guy here, right? And you can argue whether those moves were super effective or not.
They weren't.
I don't think it really matters, right, if you have a better left tackle. Because at the end of the day, Joe is going to take these hits because Joe wants to make a play outside the pocket, away from the line of scrimmage, trying to hold the ball down so Jamar Chase can get open on the 8. Like, it's just how he plays that leaves him open to these sack numbers. And what scares me is when you hear a quarterback defend sacks, like Joe Burrow did, because that's to be said, it's worth the risk of me taking the sacks. And on the football field per game, it might be. It's not worth it when it comes to the wear and tear of your body, right? Like it's just not worth it. Not. And I know that Bengal fans were arguing like, well, Joe's injury didn't have anything to do with getting hit. You think your body just be randomly breaking down with non-contact injuries at 26 if you're not taking a bunch of hits?
Hey man, have they seen the list of how many hits he's taken since he's been in the league? Like the stats are extremely concerning. Isn't it worse than Andrew Luck?
The sacks, I think, are, and that's not even the worst thing that he takes. He takes so many hits just in the pocket after he throws a football, right? Like, he takes so many hits on the week, just falling on the wrist, right? Falling back, scooting on the wrist. That's what happens, right? You just keep falling, you wear your wrist down. Next thing you know, your wrist like, you know what, dog? I can't do it. Pop. That's what happened. Deshaun Watson, none of those hits he took were especially crazy for Deshaun Watson. He has not taken a crazy hit. But you know what his shoulder said? I'm done, dog. Like, I'm done, dog. Like, I can't hold no more. Like, you done put this shoulder through too much. This bone's done. I'm done. Peace. Figure it out next year, dog. Like, that much wear and tear, you're just going to break down. You're just going to break down. And that's where I look at those 3 quarterbacks. And look, Josh Allen, to his credit, has not started to break down yet physically. Okay? So maybe he can avoid this just by just being a miraculous built person. I guess that happens. But everything tells, yeah, great.
Miraculously built person.
Hey, dog, I had to come up with something. But I do think that those 3 could easily end up on that list as another set of examples of why you shouldn't let your quarterback take that many hits. And again, it doesn't mean they can't run. It doesn't mean you can't scramble. I don't mind if you scramble and then you slide, or you scramble, you get like grabbed by like a DB and run them out of bounds. Don't nobody care about those hits. What we care about is when you holding the ball. Remember that hit Deshaun took in his first game back against the Colts? We held that ball and it got smacked by like, that's the shit that you can't keep doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can't keep
Gotta
letting
learn.
Miles just beat your head in. Can't keep letting Miles Garrett beat your head in.
Man, Myles Garrett would be in the Hall of Fame already if he played the Bengals only. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just. And Kolb, it ain't like that shit just started when he started playing Zach Taylor. Who did this really start against? It wasn't Zach Taylor. He played against Zach Taylor, didn't get that many sacks without Joe Burrow. But when Joe Burrow be playing, Myles Garrett be going off. Why is that? It's because it's Joe Burrow's fault that he be taking some of these hits. Like, they got to take it upon themselves. Like, there's a lot you could do to avoid it. Again, Brett Favre did it. I just remembered how terrible a person Brett Favre is. But Brett Favre did it. It's like I'll think about one scandal and another scandal pops up and another one.
All the
hey man, no more quarterbacks should wear 4. Dak, change your number. Dog, like
no more quarterbacks should wear 4.
Nah, just retire it.
That's the sicko number. That's the sicko number.
It don't got a great reputation. It don't got it like Derek Carr out here. Like, what are y'all doing to my number, dog? Like.
Dang, so 4 is either sicko or ultra Christian.
No, it's usually both. It's usually both, though. Like, isn't Brett Favre really religious? We know Deshaun is.
Oh man. Yeah, Derek, change your number, dog.
Change number, man. Dog. That's just not. Let's just. Nope.
Change your number, bro. Change your
that
number,
is a
please.
scandal-bound number, dog. Like, I don't know. Something gonna pop up. You start wearing.
I want that to pop up about Derek, man. I feel like he's a good dude.
Derek got a great reputation in the league, man. Like, so did Deshaun, though. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Change your number, brother. Change your number.
Yeah, but Brett Favre. This list is ironic because, like, poor John Elway, right? But Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger, John Elway are the 3 that I can think of that figured it out.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. But those are the 3 who I feel like have figured it out. That I can remember off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's more. You could say like Randall Cunningham or something like that, right? If you really want to get deep into a bag. But there are a lot of quarterbacks who figure it out how not to take that many hits. There are quarterbacks who never do. Deshaun Watson, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen got to figure that out. And even the ones that don't take hits, well, I'll leave Russ alone. Russ been in his little pot jamming a little. We're going to talk about, you know what?
Hey,
perfect transition.
Can we talk about it? Russ, I hate to say it, Russ been cooking. We killed him.
We going to transition. Because we talk about whose season is over. And we got a revive section in here, right? We got a revive section in here, courtesy of the Denver Broncos. Shout out to y'all. All right. But we got a revive section. We're talking about whose season is over in the NFL. Now, Kolb, if you look at the page I sent you, I have question marks over teams that I feel like it's a question whether these teams are cooked. And then I have no question marks over the teams that I know are cooked. So let's just go over the list of teams we know are cooked and leave it at that. Panthers.
Done.
Cardinals.
Done, but kind of interesting.
Done but
to
fun.
watch what Kyle. Done but fun.
Done but fun. Done but fun. Yes. I think that's fair. That's about the best you could be at done, right? Bears.
Done.
Giants.
Done, but Tommy DeVito. Good game.
Hey, done but goofy. All right. Titans.
Done.
Patriots.
Super done.
Yeah, they got the same record as the Cardinals. None of the
sneaky,
excuses.
sneaky QB team, sneaky drafting, sneaky trading up to get the QB team.
Hey man, this is where we gonna really find out about Bill Belichick. Is he gonna look? I feel like I know how Bill has operated, and unfortunately, I don't feel like Bill is the type of person to do what needs to be done.
Why are you
draft Caleb Williams?
Why are you assuming that he's going to be the one making that decision?
Now,
I don't think he's going to be making that decision.
Here's what I fear with the Patriots: they gonna spend their whole life chasing that Tom Brady ghost. Now that it's gone, they gonna draft. No,
Drake
not
May?
even Drake May. No. Here's what I mean by the Tom Brady ghost. They gonna draft every lanky white dude that's projected to be a 5th, 6th round pick and just throw him in there. They about to chase that Tom Brady like they about to draft a lot of Stanford quarterbacks. They about to draft a lot of Duke quarterbacks. Like, if I've ever seen a team that takes J.J. McCarthy, it's the Patriots.
No, I know what they're going to do.
Because look at what they've been doing.
They're going to trade up and take Drake May.
Nah,
I can see it.
They're not going to do that. Drake May's too good for them to draft. They drafted McCorkle Jones. They've already set their flag organizationally, and this is what we want to do. We going to rock with McCorkle. And then you know who else we going to get? The Zap Man.
This is what I'm saying.
Brother, it's still Boston. Like, I know that you said they're going to get Drake May. But Drake May might wear chains. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how Drake May kick it. But I feel like
Bill can't be there. It's why Bill cannot be the one to make the decision. They got to have somebody else do it.
They don't want a quarterback with confidence. They want somebody that they feel like they can tell themselves the Tom Brady story. I've seen teams ruin themselves by chasing after that dragon. They chasing after that Tom Brady dragon for the next 10 years. I promise you that. They are going to be out here drafting every awkward, tall, lanky dude that they can find, right? I'm pretty sure they'll mix a brother in there too. He'll be the same profile. You'll be like, oh, look at this awkward brother that we could get out here. We gonna draft Spencer Rattler, give him a chance or something like that. Like, that's who they gonna go with. They gonna go with the underdog for the next 10 years because it worked with Tom Brady. Yes. They're never going to be. Robert Kraft is still the owner of that football team, no matter who gets fired. And honestly, if Bill gets fired, that means Robert Kraft has more say over what happens with that football team.
Hey, real quick. You know Robert Kraft been hanging out with Meek Mill and them, dog. You don't know nothing about Robert. You don't know what he got going on.
Yeah, okay. Where was Robert Kraft?
Where
was Robert Kraft when Lamar Jackson needed somebody to act like they was going to sign him? You hang out with Meek Mill all you want. He wasn't wanting nothing to do with no Lamar Jackson.
Hey man, a lot of teams.
Look, I know there's one team in the NFL that ain't gonna have no problem if they had to draft the Caleb Williams, and that is the Indianapolis Colts. But they already took Anthony Richardson, which is why I like how they operate at times. Because who also was one of the few people like, hey, I might get on that jet with Lamar. Jim Irsay crazy ass. Okay.
Man.
But we'll talk about that in a second once we get on the Caleb Williams thing. But the Patriots, they're done. All right. First team on the questionable list. The Jets? Are the Jets done?
They're done.
They're done? They just started Tim Boyle. Now, I love popping this stat on people. You know anything about Tim Boyle's college career?
No.
Oh, you don't? Well, the brother played at UConn in Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky plays in the Ohio Valley Conference in the FCS. He spent 1 full year there. He spent 3 years at UConn. He was a full-time starter only at Eastern Kentucky, a Ohio Valley school in the FCS. And I'm going to let you know right now, Ohio Valley and the FCS ain't even like that for real. It ain't even a real conference all like that. Like, they not like that. Like, my YSU Penguins be whipping on them OVC schools all the time. Like, easy money. Like, they like the American of the FCS. Okay, so just so you know where they are sitting, that is where my man's played football. He played in the American and he played in the FCS. You want to know, guess what his touchdown interception ratio was?
Man, I don't even want to know. I don't even.
No, go ahead, guess it.
What are we talking about?
He got a camp invite, right? So he got to be decent.
At least like 2-1.
2-1. So how many touchdowns and interceptions would you say he would have?
So he threw like, let's say he probably threw like 18, had 9 picks, something like that.
Okay. A respectable guess. He had 12 touchdowns, 26 interceptions.
Wow.
He must be a hell of a networker, dog.
How
And
is he
his last year at Eastern Kentucky, FCS, Ohio Valley, remember, they're not like that as a conference, dog. Like, it's not that tough of an FCS conference. It's not one of the best two. It's not like the Big Sky or Missouri Valley, where those are like just as good as playing in like the MAC or the Sun Belt. Nah, dog. He did this at Eastern Kentucky. He played 12 games, 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions at Eastern Kentucky.
He about to start for the Jets?
He's already started for the Lions before. You want to know how that went?
Yeah, tell me how that went.
3 touchdowns. Okay. 6 interceptions. My man got a career touchdown interception ratio of 3-9. So he's on pace to replicate his college career.
Yeah, the Jets are cooked. That's all.
I don't got to show you a picture of Tim Boyle, do I?
No, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. I'm okay. The touchdown to interception ratio was enough. I'm good.
The fact that Tim Boyle can have an NFL career and JT Barrett got no sniff of an NFL career.
No, hey, listen. You know what they be calling us racist in the comments. We got to chill out.
That's crazy. Ain't that a crazy concept to you, dog? Ain't that an insane concept?
It is insane, dog. How?
Dog, he's an offensive. This month is coaching for the Lions right now. That's what JT Barrett is doing. He had to quit football and coach. This is JT Barrett. Meanwhile, Tim Boyle, who was undrafted in the same year that JT Barrett was undrafted, is about to start for the Jets.
That's crazy.
And he had 12 touchdowns and 26 interceptions. But he's 6'4", 232. Like,
dog, that's dog.
Right?
There's nothing I could even say. There's no words.
Colb, you want to know what makes it worse? That last year at Eastern Kentucky, mind you, a FCS conference, not like that. Not a like that FCS conference. That was his 5th year in college.
Dang, he ain't even had a Kenny Pickett super senior year.
That was his Kenny Pickett super senior year.
That's crazy.
That's nuts, yes.
That's nuts.
Yes. My bad. He had 1 rushing touchdown. Now, you know how they do rushing yards in college. So he got like a negative 40 rushing yards because I guess like, he ain't even mobile. He ain't even mobile, dog. NFL career. Yeah. Been in the league since 2018. My man JT Barrett is coaching right now. Braxton Miller had to play wide receiver. Braxton Miller had to play wide receiver in college. It got so cooked for him. And he was so much better than Tim Boyle.
Yeah, man. I don't know, dog. I don't know.
Hey, man.
Hey, dog. I don't know what to say.
Yes. That's what I love bringing that stat up on people who don't know it. Because it's, how does that happen? People like he had a good preseason one time. Okay, how did he get to preseason?
I can only think of one reason, man.
He must know people who know people. He must got great networking. That's great all networking. People old favors. Okay, like networking. Shout out to networking, man. Tim Boyle.
Hey, no. Shout out, say the touchdown to interception ratio one more time at UConn.
Oh, you don't want to know the UConn one. You don't want to know the FBS one.
No. I need to know the UConn one. I need to know the UConn one.
One touchdown, 13 interceptions.
Oh, bro, what the fuck?
No rushing touchdowns. No rushing touchdowns. Hey, man.
Hey, this who Zach Wilson got benched for?
How the fuck? How is he on the team? How is he on the team?
God. No,
like you can do better than that, dog.
It gotta be better than him.
He's definitely better than this.
Come on, bro. Man, Zach gotta be better than that. That's crazy.
Man.
That's nuts. That's disrespectful. I'm sorry. That's disrespectful.
Zach Wilson, dog, ain't never threw that many interceptions in college. Like,
come on, bro.
And again, he did that at UConn. It wasn't like he was playing Alabama. Like, he was playing South Alabama, dog. Like, he was out here playing South Alabama and North Alabama and still looking fried. Okay?
Come on, bro. Like, you can't disrespect me like that, dog. That's ridiculous. That's just rude, bro. Like, that's just mean to bench me for that, dude. Like, come on, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, the Jets are finished. The Jets are cooked.
Hey, man, but he ran a 4.77.
And he ain't fat? Oh, come on, bro.
And he was old.
Like, come on.
What does he must be, look, hey, he gotta be a great teammate. Like, he gotta be. Honestly, I don't know how his college career survived his UConn numbers. Who you about to take that kid on in the transfer portal? Let me tell you right now, I'm being dead serious. That kid ain't coming to YSU. Like, he wasn't even good enough to, like, be in the transfer portal for YSU. Like, no, why would you trash, dog? Like, we take, like, decent players from these reject schools. Like, nah, dog, we not about to take you. They would rather take somebody from, like, Division II than this dude. So I'm telling you right now, he tried to go to a bigger FCS school, and he ended up at Eastern Kentucky. Like, no.
Hey, man. He found a way to get NFL checks. That's crazy.
Hey, man, shout out to him and his agent, dog. I want to know.
Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all.
Hey, you ever see somebody's success and you like, I got to network better. I gotta make people feel better around me, because clearly this shit ain't about work, dog.
I ain't even trying to hate. I just feel like, man, I need to be like, him, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?
Ain't like I'm hating. I ain't trying to take it away from the man. I'm just like, clearly there's a part of my game that I'm neglecting that matters a lot. Like,
yeah, he definitely figured out something I ain't figured out shit.
Hey, man.
What am I doing?
JT Barrett stuck around. Was like, you want a headset, son? Like, that's crazy, man. JT Barrett, one of the best quarterbacks in Ohio State history.
History, bro. History.
And he was out the league by 2020 and got cut by the Edmonton Elks in 2022 and got handed a headset by the homie, by the way, the ankle biter, Dan Campbell.
Hey, shout out Dan Campbell. Shout out Dan Campbell putting the homie on, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, gave him a promotion to assistant quarterback coach. Shout out to Dan Campbell, man. I hope things go well for JT Barrett over there as a coach.
I hope things go well for Dan Campbell. I appreciate that. I appreciate him doing that.
And shout out to the original JT Barrett, Kenny Guyton. You know what I mean? He's an offensive coordinator somewhere in the college. I think I heard that too. The original JT. Act like that wasn't the original JT Barrett. Hey, Braxton get hurt. Here come Kenny. Slow grind up the field.
Hey, man.
Got it done versus Purdue. And I think he did something against Kyle one time. Shout out Kenny Guyton, man. That's the guy right there. Kenny G. Legend. Yeah, he is the Arkansas interim offensive coordinator.
Hey, shout out to the guy, man.
Yeah, it's a P5.
He
Yes.
getting it done. He getting it
Yeah.
done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. The segment gonna be 45 minutes long. We don't hurry up. Is the Bengals season? Oh, that was just the Jets. All right, we need to hurry up.
God, we need a producer.
Okay. Okay. Bengals, is their season over? They still got Jamar Chase and a really good defense. But
To be determined.
it is
To be determined.
I think they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers next week.
I think they might beat the Steelers. I think are they at home or are they?
It's in Cincinnati.
Oh, it's in Cincinnati. I think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna win. Division games are weird. It don't matter what's going on. Division games are weird.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, and I tell people this. I told Steelers fans this. They're like, "Oh, DTR is worse than Kenny Pickett." I'm like, one, we don't know that. Two, it don't matter, dog. Kenny Pickett ass. Like when your quarterback sucks, it don't matter who sucks more.
Can we also be? Can we be honest about something? Can we be honest about something else? I don't want to be disrespectful, but I don't think that defense is as good as they think it is either.
It's not.
They have the worst defense in the division.
Yeah, it's not on the same. It's not on the same tier as the Browns.
They have great
Chargers.
pass rushers. They have great pass rushers, but it's not that good. Chargers, yeah, their season's over.
Really?
Their season's over. They're done.
If there's a team that can come back from 4-6, I think it's them. But if there's a team that can't come back from 4-6, I also think it's them. Like I just have no faith in them. But I'm like, they got Justin Herbert.
This is the thing. This is the thing about the Chargers. They need to see for the mental health.
They need to fire their coach.
Yes, and the health of that organization, just in general, they need to fire Brandon Staley. Like they need to do that.
You know what? If they fire their coach, their season's not over. If they don't fire Brandon Staley, that shit's cooked. Because that team is talented enough. That team is talented enough to where if they fire him, they might like have a little Raiders charge and then get back to 500.
They're not gonna fire. They're gonna wait until the end of the season, and then they're gonna fire him because they don't want to leave any. Like they're not gonna leave any doubt. Like you're gonna be like, okay, he's getting fired at the end of the year. We gonna start it over. They're gonna have a good pick. They're gonna have a good pick in the draft, which I think they need, and then they'll be good.
Nah, yeah, they don't fire Brandon Staley. I agree with you. Their season's done. The Commanders.
Oh, their season's done.
They need to fire their coach too.
Eric Bieniemy, Browns
as a head
coordinator.
coach. That's crazy because he's been doing a hell of a job there with Sam Howell.
Browns offensive coordinator. Kevin get the extension. He feel comfortable. He gonna be EB.
Hey, look, if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I have learned the value of firing my homeboys. I'm just gonna put that one out there. Like,
man, listen,
he done fired his homeboy on the defensive side, and he's like, you know what, might be the best move of my life. Like,
he fired his homeboy.
He looking at Alex Van Pelt.
Special team too.
He looking at Alex Van Pelt like, hey, bruh, might have to go. Might have to go. And Deshaun is looking at him like, it ain't nothing personal, AVP. But you know, Pickett be my guy.
He gonna be like, Deshaun gonna be like, hey, me and Kevin was talking.
Hey, and, but if I'm Kevin, I'm like, hey, under no circumstances can you bring in Eric Bieniemy, because I'm not about to get David Blatted. Like, ain't no shot in hell I'm about to get David Blatted. Y'all not about to David Blatt me. Okay, you don't know what David Blatt means. Being David Blatted is like they was like, hey man, y'all think about hiring Ty Lewis as assistant? He's available. And David Blatt was like, sure, okay, yeah, he'll help me. He'll help me adjust to the NBA. You know what he helped David Blatt adjust to? Unemployment. That's what he helped David Blatt adjust to.
That's why I said. That's why I said Kevin got to get the extension.
You got to make sure EB ain't on no Jason Kidd, ain't on no program, dog.
First. He got to get the extension first. He gonna feel comfortable. He can't take my job. I'm here till 2030. We good.
No, I think somebody's gonna hire him with the promise of we gonna sneak you along as head. Yeah. We gonna go ahead and push that program along there, EB. Because he should be a head coach. Like, I understand that like the Commanders aren't good this year, but he's done enough with Sam Howell that you're like, we should probably hire Eric Bieniemy while he's cheap, right? While not everybody's so thirsty to hire him. Like, you've seen his work with Kansas City. His resume not gonna get any better. He done proved that he could do it without Pat Mahomes. Like, I mean, this is the good time to hire him. Hey, maybe the Giants. They gonna be looking for a coach. The Packers.
Yeah, the season's done.
They did just win.
They beat the Chargers.
Hey, man, they didn't think they was going to do that. Their season's over. Can't trust Jordan Love. Yeah, and Jordan Love, and who's second in that division?
Isn't the Vikings? Aren't the Vikings second?
The Vikings are still alive, yes.
Yeah,
all right.
They're done.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Done.
You're saying done?
Done.
Why done? I'm shocked by that.
What are they? 4-6?
I think they're 5-6. Let me look them up real quick. Tampa Bay Bucks. They are. Hold on. They are what? 2-1, 3-1. Remember they were 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, 4-5. Oh, they're 4-6. But they play at Indy. If they lose this Indy game, they're cooked. But they play at Indy, Carolina. So they're gonna get that one. At Atlanta. At Green Bay, they get a home game versus Jacksonville. They play the Saints, and they're going to play the Panthers. So, what, you 4-6, you could probably lose 8 games and still win that division.
I don't think they're going to win more games than the Saints.
Well, I don't know. I feel like that's an 8-win division.
Whoever gets scrapes up 9 wins is gonna win it.
Yeah, probably. And look, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Saints got blown out by Josh Dobbs. And like, hey, look, no disrespect to Josh Dobbs, but when you watch Josh Dobbs for a full game, you go, "Oh, okay, yes, I can see exactly why he didn't get to play for a while." Although you can appreciate it being fun, you're like, I'm not gonna confuse fun with good, like.
I just think the Saints are. I think the Saints are the least bad.
Yeah, but Derek Carr's in and out with like concussion protocol.
Oh, is he not healthy?
Yeah, he's not healthy right now.
Oh man!
But the end of their schedule is Falcons, and this is for the Saints. Falcons, Lions. They're losing that one.
Yeah, they're losing that one.
Panthers, Giants, Rams. Buccaneers, Falcons.
What's their current record?
I believe they're 5-6 or 6-5 or something like that. They are 5-5.
Oh yeah, they're going to get 9 wins. 100%. 100% going to get 9 wins.
You think they got 4 more in them?
But look at their division, dog. Yeah, they got 4 more in them. 100%.
Yeah, but the Falcons. You think the Falcons are going to just lose out?
Yeah, the Falcons stink, bro. They stink.
They might decide. All that needs to happen for the Falcons to win more than 4 games is them to remember that Bijan Robinson's on the team.
You trust Arthur Smith to do that?
Hey, man. He about to get fired. He just going to be starting to try shit at this point.
We'll revisit. In the coming weeks.
I don't think the Bucks are dead. I don't think the Bucks are dead. You see, look, I'm not the Baker Mayfield hater. Y'all paid me out to be. I still think the brother still got a shot. The brother still got a shot.
Hey, we gonna talk. I will address this later, but I'll address this later on a different topic that we got. But I do want to say that, and it's the next topic. It's the next topic. I'm gonna have to apologize to Baker Mayfield, but we'll get to that in a second.
All right, revived quarterbacks. Revived teams. Broncos, question mark. Have they been revived?
Yes.
All right, they're playing good football. Good defensive
very good football.
I would say this though. I think that offense can be unraveled. I
I
think you get
agree.
them behind the sticks. And Russ is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. You get them behind the sticks. You force Russ to make quick decisions. You can unravel that deep. I think you can really unravel that offense. And that defense, it's a little bit tougher, but if you can run the ball, I think you can be successful against them. But I don't think that means that they're not going to be a good enough team to be in a playoff conversation, if that makes sense. So I think their season's still alive.
After they gave up that 70-point game to the Vikings, the Dolphins, my apologies. When they gave up that 70-point, those 70 points to the Dolphins, it was looking kind of ugly. They fought back from that point very well. They played some not so great teams along the way.
Also beat the Chiefs.
Also did beat the Chiefs, which is a great win. But I'm interested to see how that offense looks against the Browns defense. I'm interested.
Also, interested to see if the Browns don't turn the ball over. The Vikings, are they alive?
They're definitely alive. They're definitely alive. Even with the loss, even with that loss yesterday, they're still alive.
I would say they're just there. They're just there. I'm gonna just point out, once Josh Dobbs learns that offense, it's a wrap for this season.
Hey, was it John Rivers who said that Josh Dobbs plays better the less he knows?
Yes, it's so true.
I feel like he overthinks, dog. I think
he overanalyzes stuff. Like, and let me tell you something. When I saw that Broncos game, he was trying to run the offense. I was like, nah, Dobbs, you need to just run off instinct, brother, because your instinct is better than your thoughts, right?
Too smart. I tell you, he might be too smart, dog. He might be too smart. He's a rocket scientist, man. He's a rocket scientist. He might be too smart, dog.
He be trying to cook up equations and shit once he know everything. Like you ever be somebody you like, hey man, they just do what they got to do and they just stay in their lane, they good, and then they start coming to you talking about this special sauce they about to put on some shit. You like, just follow the recipe card, dog. Like, I don't need you to add nothing. That's what it is with Josh Dobbs. He get in there too long. He start trying to cook some stuff up. Look what happened at the end of Arizona. They was ready to bench him. Like, that didn't come out of nowhere. You talk to people around Arizona, there was real energy to bench him after that Ravens game because, hey man, look, Josh Dobbs, like once he start learning shit, why do you think he looked so bad with the Browns in the preseason?
He knew the whole playbook.
He was here for 2 years. It's too much.
He knew everything, man. First quarterback I ever seen who played better the less he knows. It's crazy.
Oh, no. Would like to throw Johnny Manziel into that playbook.
Facts.
Hey, man. They don't know me and I don't know them. That's what Johnny was on. The less Johnny looked at that playbook, the more he balled. That's all I'm going to say. Imagine trying to watch that shit on film, dog. Ain't no tendencies. It's all instinct. That's why he had Nick. That's why he beat Nick Saban. Nick Saban out here trying to say, oh, okay, when he gets this look, he tries to throw the ball here. He don't try to throw the ball on no looks. He just out here throwing the ball to dudes he think are open.
He just happened to be right sometimes. That's all it is.
You know what I mean?
And he threw to Mike Evans.
Hey, look, it's easy to be right. You know what I mean? It's easy to be right.
Mike down there somewhere.
Hey, shout out to Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans doing his thing, dog. Doing this thing. Hall of Famer.
First ballot. Give him the gold jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Texans, I don't even think this is a debate. They're revived.
Oh, 100%. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs.
Might win the division. Raiders.
Done but fun.
Yeah, I don't think that shit gonna be fun no more, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw Aiden O'Connell in that game. I'm like, ooh, the fun's over. Like, he threw an interception falling backwards right to a defender. I'm like, oh no, the fun's over, y'all. Like, that game right there. Like, you remember when the Browns had like these fun little runs and be like, oh yeah, we gonna be a fun team. And then we went up against like a real team and got embarrassed. It was like, well, the fun's over. Like, the fun is over. Let me tell you something. That was what happened with them against the Dolphins. All that shit was cute and fun until this week. And now the fun's over. I'm telling you, the Robert Spillane defense, yeah, shit's over with. That shit's done. Like, speaking of things that are done, that are cooked.
Oh, yeah. Wait for this.
Hey, Kenny Pickett stinks. He stinks, man.
We can't even do like, you don't even need no real analysis with this. He just sucks, bro. He's bad. He's bad.
No, that man ass on grass. He's terrible. He's terrible. He's deliciously awful. Like, he is terrible, dog. Like,
hey, man. Remember what I said? As Browns fans, if there's one thing that we definitely know when we see it, it's ass at the quarterback position.
Hey, we gotta stop being so nice.
Dog. He looks very familiar to me, dog.
We gotta stop being so nice to these prospects when they come out of college, because we always assume that just because somebody drafted in the first round that they're gonna have some semblance of a regular football career, right? It's like, oh well, the worst he could be is Kirk Cousins. I was talking to my boy Steelers DB Derek Bell. He does film breakdowns on the Steelers. And I was like, I hate when people say shit like, well, all he has to be is Andy Dalton. All he has to be is Kirk Cousins. I'm like, you know how hard it was to find one Kirk Cousins? Like,
hey, Kirk ain't that bad, dog. Kirk ain't that bad where you can just be like, oh, just be Kirk Cousins. Like, what are you talking about, dog?
Like, you know how hard it is to find one Andy Dalton? Like,
Kirk done threw for 4,000 yards like 6 different times, dog.
You know how good you gotta be? You know how good you gotta be to be that?
Like, come on, bro. Like, hey, like, I know you get your Kirk Cousins jokes off, but come on, bro. Like, he ain't that bad. He's not that bad.
Kirk Cousins isn't bad. That's the thing. He's mediocre. He's not bad, right? Sometimes he's slightly above average, but the joke about Kirk is that Kirk gonna cook during the regular season. He gonna throw a check down on 4th and season in the playoffs, though. Like, that's just what he gonna do. Like, that's what Kirk gonna do. But you not drafting Kirk every year. There's not a Kirk Cousins in the draft every year. There's like a Kirk Cousins in the draft every other year, maybe. Or somebody you could afford. There's not even a Baker Mayfield every year in the draft. Okay? And this is the thing.
Good segue, because I got to do something real quick. It's hard for me.
Uh-oh.
It's hard for me.
Wait a minute. Is he about to bring the 6 back?
I look into the camera and say so. Baker, I said a lot of things about you over the years. I have tweeted some things, said some things on here. I admit that. We did a video a couple months ago. The title card says, Kenny Pickett equals Baker Mayfield.
That was so unfair to Baker Mayfield.
And I just want to say, I'm going to look you in the eyes. I sincerely apologize for us making that video and for me saying those things, because you ain't never been that bad, dog. Oh, my God. Kenny stinks, bro. Kenny is Baker. You ain't never been that bad.
Let me look up something.
Never been that bad,
the worst game I've ever seen Baker Mayfield have was that Detroit Lions game. And what was that, 2020 or 2021?
It had to be 2021.
Let me see how bad he was in that game. Because that's the one game where I was like, who he is in this one, right? That was a pretty bad one. Remember that? He was awful. The Browns won that game 13-10. Ironically enough, the Browns won that game 13-10. Baker Mayfield was versus Tim Boyle. Yeah, shout out TB. Getting a lot of run on this podcast. By the way, TB had 77 yards, 15 completions, 2 interceptions. QBR 10. How is he in the league? Baker Mayfield in the worst game we've ever seen him play in. 176, 15-29, a touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Oh, that's not the worst game he's played. That's not the worst.
What's the worst game?
That Packers game was worse. That Packers game was definitely worse.
No, I'm saying like the interception heavy games, like they're there. This was the game where I was like, he's just flat missing everything. Like the Packers game, he had some, like, you know how Baker usually does you, right? He'll give you some sugar, but then he gonna give you a lot of like sour, right? But he gonna mix the sugar in between. They're like, hey man, say what you want about that Green Bay game. He came back to throw the game away at the end. Like
four picks, dog. 4 picks.
That's what I'm saying. He threw 3 of them boys in the first half, came back from the second quarter in the third quarter, close enough for it to be close. Then threw that last interception in that fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the Baker Mayfield experience is. Like, hey, he might throw 4 picks, but he could bring you back in this bitch. Like,
no, they were saying Baker ruined Christmas.
Hey, man. That's the peak Baker Mayfield experience. This game against Detroit, I'm like, yo, dog. One, remember, the Detroit Lions were 0-9 coming into this game.
Thanks.
Okay, they were awful that year. And the Browns were 6-5 coming into that game. And Baker Mayfield flat just missed everybody. Miss everybody, man. Nick Chubb was the only thing that we had going for us. Austin Hooper was our leading receiver. And who was second? Jamarcus Brantley. And guess who played? Jarvis Landry. Okay?
Shout out Jamarcus Brantley. He getting a lot of run on the podcast, too.
Yeah. Jarvis Landry had 8 targets in this game for 4 receptions. And let me tell you, none of them were drops. All misses. Some of the craziest misses. But even like you look at the worst game I've seen of Baker Mayfield, it's better than the average Kenny Pickett game.
Facts. Baker's never been that bad, dog.
Yeah.
He's never been that
bad. He's just never been as bad. And I think people underestimate this. They think when they draft a quarterback that like, oh, the most recent bad quarterback in the first round is the worst he can get. Nah, man, like Kenny Pickett can easily turn into the Peterman. He's not that different from the Peterman. Like, I call him Kenny Bridgewater all the time because I'm like, that's his ceiling. Is Teddy Bridgewater.
That's disrespectful to Teddy, for real.
No. I'm not saying he is Teddy Bridgewater. I'm saying he's Kenny Bridgewater. He is. That's where he can get to, hopefully. That's the peak for Kenny Pickett, is to be what Teddy Bridgewater is. But right now, I mean, like like his ceiling is Teddy Bridgewater, Colt McCoy. And his ceiling always was Teddy Bridgewater, Colt McCoy. He was always a 4th, 5th round pick, but they hyped him up and compared him to Joe Burrow. This is why you cannot track. This is why, and I'm going to show you right now. This is why you cannot trust the draft industrial complex. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. We're going to get to it here. But I had a list of quarterbacks where I'm like, if they were in Kenny Pickett's draft, there's a serious argument that they would be the first quarterback taken, not Kenny Pickett. Some of these are obvious. Will Levis, fairly obvious.
Yep.
Hendon Hooker, I think that one's fairly obvious. Some of these are less fairly obvious. DTR, much better college player than Kenny Pickett. Much better pro tools than Kenny Pickett. Much more potential. DTR, if he was in that draft, I promise you, you look at DTR next to somebody like Desmond Ridder, I promise you're taking DTR in the first round. I promise you that. There's no way you're not. Like, the only problem DTR had, he came out the year with CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. He ain't look special next to those guys. If he was out here running next to Desmond Ridder, they would have been on that DTR train. He cost himself some money not coming out, but he did have a good year at UCLA. Sam Howell, much better college player than Kenny Pickett. Much better college prospect than Kenny Pickett.
How much better would the Steelers be if they had Sam Howell right now?
And it would be better. They probably would have beat us on Sunday. But hey. And literally, if they had any of these quarterbacks I'm talking about, they probably would have beat us. Except for Hendon Hooker because he's hurt. Brock Purdy, much better college player than Kenny Pickett. People forget he was balling at Iowa State. It's just Iowa State, so didn't nobody like. If people don't care about Iowa, they really don't care about Iowa State.
Iowa State, nah.
Ain't nobody watching that. You know what I mean? But he was balling. It's still Big 12 football. Like, he was doing his thing. Davis Mills. better prospect and currently better player than Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love, not a doubt in my mind. He would have been number 1 overall if he came out that year. They would have talked himself into that. Ain't no way you taking him over. Ain't no way you taking Kenny Pickett over Jordan Love if they were in the same draft. Another one, ain't a doubt in my mind, Jalen Hurts. Think about that right now, America.
Yes.
Think about that one right now. And all these guys I'm bringing up were drafted after first round 20th pick, which Kenny Pickett was taken in the first round with the 20th pick in the draft. That's where the Steelers took him. All these guys were behind him. Well, not behind him in the same draft, but behind him in draft positioning in their year. Jalen Hurts. If he would have came out that year, dog, I promise you, number one overall pick.
Number 1 overall.
Drew Lock definitely would have been taken before Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they would have convinced themselves into taking Kenny Pickett over Lamar Jackson, but somebody would have. Somebody would have.
Sorry, but hey, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Lamar Jackson's 32nd pick of the draft. Kenny Pickett with 20th. 20th. Mason Rudolph, I feel like was better at college and might be a better pro than Kenny Pickett.
I see some Steelers fans calling for Mason to play. I'm like, dang, it's all bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's all bad.
Let me tell you, you got a better arm. You know who else was a much better prospect coming out of college?
You looking at me
Kenny
crazy.
Pickett?
Who you about to say? You looking at me crazy.
Hey, man. The scouting report says the body of Cam Newton and the mind of Tom Brady. Deshaun Kaiser himself. Absolutely a better prospect than Kenny Pickett coming out of college.
100%.
Yes, better prospect. Much more accomplished college football player. Much more intriguing athlete at the position. You know who else is all of those things too? The assistant quarterback coach for the Detroit Lions, Mr. J.T. Barrett.
Oh, man.
All of these dudes were much more accomplished than Kenny Pickett. All of these dudes are more athletic than Kenny Pickett. All of these dudes are much more intriguing as prospects as Kenny Pickett. But Kenny Pickett got taken first round. First round. Hey, bro, I can't trust Mike Tomlin no more after that, man. Like I gotta ask some questions about that, dog.
We out on Mike T.
How you let that shit happen?
He ain't the GM. He ain't the GM.
You don't think Mike Tomlin word ring out around there? You think he a first-year head coach? He Mike fucking Tomlin. Yes, I promise you. If he says no on Kenny Pickett, they not about to do it. Think he be a held hostage, start Kenny Pickett for no reason?
Hey, man, that was a bad one.
He's the franchise. Like
literally, he's the franchise.
Like, what do you mean? Nah. Mike.
Can't believe Mike did that.
Mike.
Can't believe Mike did that, man. What was Mike thinking, bro? What was Mike thinking?
That wasn't for the culture. that was for Kenny Pickett, man. Kenny, it didn't make sense at the time. And I remember I got ridiculed simply because he got drafted. Like, if Kenny Pickett doesn't get drafted in the first round, he doesn't play this long. But since he got drafted in the first round, people were like, well, he has to be at least as good as Teddy Bridgewater. Like, Teddy Bridgewater, that was tough for Teddy to get to where he got to from the second round. Like, nah, man, that's not guaranteed. And you know what Kenny Pickett is? A dude who'll be out the league in like 4 years. Like, he don't have any interest. Like, maybe he sticks around as a backup long term because you never know who could become that. But you'll see Kenny Pickett in some preseason games and be like, oh, shit, that's where he at. He played for Philly now. That's him. That's Kenny Pickett.
How much longer the Steelers go ride this out? What, they gotta give him one more year because he was first round pick?
Well, shit, they got the other version of Kenny Pickett on the roster with Mitchell Trubisky. So, like, what they gonna do? They might as well ride it out, right? Like, what you gonna do?
How many more years can you really justify doing?
Like, years? There's no years. Like, there's no more years on this conversation. It's over. Like, it's over.
They drafted a quarterback. They drafted a quarterback immediately.
It's over. Yes. Yeah. I'm look at me. It's over. Okay. It's done. It's over for Kenny Pickett. That's it.
Like, I wonder if they go try to fire Matt Canada and then bring in a new offensive coordinator and then give it one more year.
No, hell no. Why? Ain't the offensive coordinator fault.
That's what
hell no.
Hey, I literally
they just gave Matt Canada an extension. They really don't think it's him. Like,
I was just talking to my Steelers homie. I was like, hey man, I know like y'all be like killing Matt Canada over there, but I'm gonna be real with you, bro. I don't think it's him.
No, let me tell you, it's both. It's both. They both stink.
I was like, man, Kenny's so bad. Like, I might be willing to shoot him some bail, dog. Because no offensive coordinator can fix this. Nobody can fix that quarterback, dog. I'm sorry, nobody can.
He stinks though. Kenny stinks. Kenny's not good, and this is what a not good quarterback looks like. He got 12 touchdowns in his career. I remember it was like people ridicule you if you brought up that in the offseason, like how awful his stats are. Remember Steelers fans would get mad when we were like, hey, it's Baker Mayfield's rookie year, who they swear that Kenny Pickett's better than.
Once again, Baker, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And here's Kenny Pickett. And that's the thing that I always thought was egregious. Kenny Pickett has no business being in a conversation with Baker Mayfield. Like, Baker Mayfield done put together 2 good seasons. Like, not just good seasons, legitimately good seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny ain't done none of that shit, man. Kenny put together a couple good moments. Like,
were they really even good moments?
Hey, man. Again, Roquan Smith making stars out of bubs, man. Roquan Smith. Maybe I shouldn't be excited about Deshaun Watson because it was only Roquan Smith he was throwing. All right. But yeah, point remains. Kenny Pickett. I mean, have you ever taken a look at his stats before his last year at Pitt?
Yeah, pedestrian. Just a guy.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, Kenny Pickett, 1st round pick. Tim Boyle, 7-year career in the NFL. JT Barrett can't get shit but a headset. I gonna get it, dog. Like, how bad was JT, man? Like,
listen, we ain't allowed to talk about it. We ain't allowed to
all right. We don't even gotta bring it up to be JT Barrett. Who's another good quarterback that didn't get no run? Man, my boy Blake Martinez. Okay. What's that to do at Nebraska?
Mm-hmm.
Balling. Used to ball. Where Blake Martinez at right now, man? Where Blake Martinez at?
No idea.
Last I heard, he got drafted by the USFL. Okay.
That's crazy. But Kenny Pickett the 1st round.
Oh, that's not Blake Martinez. What was his name? Because Blake Martinez is a linebacker.
I know you're talking about.
I'm gonna search Martinez quarterback, Adrian Martinez. There it is. All right, ain't that many of y'all? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yo,
hey, how many Martinezes you know at quarterback? I know like 4, and they all played at Nebraska. Like,
that's kind of crazy. That's actually kind of crazy. Now that I think about it.
Yes. Because there was another Martinez brother that played at Nebraska, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Adrian is the younger one, but there was like Taylor Martinez or something. Let's see. Now we're gonna go into deep lore. Martinez, QB, Nebraska. There's another Taylor Martinez. Remember he had that 99-yard touchdown? Yeah, back in the day.
That's what I was thinking about.
My boy Taylor Martinez balled out at Nebraska, man. Balled out at Nebraska. What was the statistics? 56 touchdowns, 29 interceptions in the Big Ten with 31 rushing touchdowns, man. Hobie had 87 touchdowns to 29 interceptions in his college football career. You know what the brother ended up doing? Homie went undrafted in 2014, got cut from the Eagles' offseason roster, and never played another down.
That's crazy. Kenny Pickett
never played another down.
And Kenny Pickett went first round. That's crazy.
And Tim Boyle got a 7-year career. Hey, it's cold out here, dog. Like, sometimes we fool ourselves into thinking football is a meritocracy, and then you see some shit like that, and you like, nah, it's about who you know. Like, that matters. That 100% matters. Because, like,
all parts of life is who you know. It is who you know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Then his homeboy, I don't think they're related, by the way, so I don't want to be problematic by assuming that both of the dudes who played quarterback in Nebraska, that's last name is Martinez, and both had amazing scrambles in their career, are both related. I can understand how somebody could make that mix up, but I don't think they are because it's not mentioned on their Wikipedia page, and I feel like that's something that people would mention right away. My man also had a good college football career. Yep. Not as good as Taylor Martinez, 49 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, but 44 rushing touchdowns, so balling in college. Played Kansas State, played at Nebraska. Undrafted in 2023, got cut from the Lions in 2023. Got cut by JT Barrett. That's cold, dog. The game's cold. The game is so cold.
Hey, no, JT's wild for that. You could be like,
no, hey, JT was like,
I see some of me in you.
JT was like, have fun in Canada. Like, if they ain't gonna let me in, I ain't letting you in. Like,
wow. JT's supposed to be the change you want to see in the world. That's crazy.
Nah, man. Nah. Look, you try to change the system, you become it. Like, it's bigger than you, dog. It's bigger than you.
We still talking about football?
Yeah. My man ran a 4.55 40. He's about to be playing for the Birmingham Stallions. Like, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Kenny Pickett went first round. His numbers don't look nothing like that. His athletic profile looks nothing like this.
Bro, that's crazy. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm pretty sure, Jake Browning, similar situation, just so y'all don't think we leaving people out of the conversation, right? We can let's look up Jake Browning so nobody get mad and act like we just making this about something. Nah, man, we making this about connections, okay? Jake Browning. Now, certain people might have more easy connections, access to those connections, but my man, Jake Browning. Remember, Heisman candidate in college? Went undrafted in 2019. Had to hang on the practice squads until Joe Burrow got hurt to start. And you know what Jake Browning did in college? You know what Jake Browning did in college, Cole?
Tell me.
108 touchdowns, 34 interceptions, 150 quarterback rating.
Oof.
A career record of 39-15. Ran a 4.74 at the 40. Same height profile, same athletic profile, same issues with his arm strength and all that. Went to the college football playoff. I don't remember Kenny Pickett doing that. Undrafted 2019.
Kenny Pickett went first round.
Kenny Pickett went the first in round, dog.
Oh, man.
And Tim Boyle is in the league starting 2. People out here bringing up Jake Browning and Tim Boyle in the same conversation as if they exist. No, Jake Browning is not the same as Tim Boyle.
Significantly better. Significantly.
But the point we try to get across is look how good you got to be to make it in the NFL. And then look how good Kenny Pickett wasn't in college. And he made it. And he wasn't good, obviously. We knew that. But still, dog, that's insane. It's insane. Because any of those guys we mentioned, Blake Martinez, Taylor Martinez, Jake Browning, could have been drafted in the first round and been Kenny Pickett. Like, I'm pretty sure they watch that shit every day. That could be me, dog. That should be me, dog. Yeah, Kenny Pickett ain't run no crazy 40. He ran 4.73. His stats at Pittsburgh weren't crazy. They weren't terrible. They were pretty good, actually, especially that last year. He threw 42 touchdowns.
Wasn't that the year he played with Jordan Addison that year, didn't he?
Yeah, it was the COVID shortened year. Played with Jordan Addison, and Clemson was ass. And Florida State was ass. And then I think he lost to like Wake Forest or something. But, still a good year. Like, I'm taking nothing away from it. But like before that, his high in touchdowns was 13. Like,
maybe it wasn't, maybe it wasn't him that year. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you think it was Jordan Addison?
I think.
Hey, man, I'm seeing Jordan Addison out here making people think that they should pay Josh Dobbs. At some point, we just gonna be like, just pay Jordan Addison. Like, wait, he's the anti-Cliff Kingsbury. Like, everywhere Cliff Kingsbury go, quarterback play dies. Like, imagine you went from Jordan Addison, the ultimate quarterback floor raiser, to Cliff Kingsbury, the ultimate ceiling stuffer. Like, Caleb Williams, man.
Ceiling stuffer is nuts.
That's what he is, man. He's a stealing stuffer. Hey, look, you ever want proof of that, dog? We didn't think Pat Mahomes was shit. Okay. We wasn't even arguing for Pat to go 1 or 2 overall, dog. We was like, yeah, I guess it's gonna be Mitchell. It should be Deshaun, but I guess it's gonna be Mitchell. We just glanced over Pat in that conversation.
That's crazy.
You know why? Cliff Kingsbury. That's why. Ultimate bag stopper. Like,
ultimate bag stopper.
Fraud, man. That man's a fraud. All right, man. We kind of rolled into it. Let's talk about Caleb Williams, man. We talked about it. You know what they out here doing. They out here running them plays right now. Now, Cole, do you want me to explain to the audience what I mean by them plays, or would you like to take care of this?
Let's see the plays. I mean, we see the plays every year. We go see the plays every year. You just go in the playbook, work every year. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna
talk about play style. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about play style first. Then next, if that ain't really catching on, we go question their intelligence. You know what I'm saying? We'll question that. If we think there's any character concerns, we're gonna throw that in. We're gonna sprinkle that in there like a little parsley. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, we're gonna see who they cousin hang out with.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see if they're affiliated with anything. You know what I'm saying?
That was so nasty what they did to D-Jax, man.
We're gonna see if they're affiliated. I'm missing anything.
I would say here's
my favorite. I think they could be more successful in the NFL if they switch positions. Somebody's gonna throw it out there. I don't know who it's gonna be. Somebody's gonna throw it out there. You know what? What if Caleb Williams decided to play wide receiver?
You gotta be drunk to say that. Like, you gotta be absolutely. But he wouldn't be the first Heisman winning quarterback that people have suggested that with. A surprising number of Heisman quarterbacks have been suggested to move along this route. But here's what I mean when I say plays. Every year, NFL teams talk themselves out of good players because they all ain't good at this, right? How does this player get to 8? Because they talked themselves out of it. How does Warren Sapp fall to? Because they talked themselves out of it. Every year, teams talk themselves out of it. And you can tell when teams are getting geared up to talk themselves out of a player because stuff starts leaking. And this says everything about how good Caleb Williams is that they felt like they needed to run this shit before the Pac-12 championship. All right. Like they get these plays out early on Caleb Williams. And let me be real. People are going to believe some of these plays. There will be people in the comment section trying to defend these plays. But these plays are these plays, right? They're going to go out here, try to act like Caleb Williams is like some irresponsible, immature kid who can't handle success, and he has such an ego, right? They've been running these plays on Caleb Williams all year, by the way. All year. Like there's been a GM scared to death of this man. They were like, oh, he's trying to leverage ourselves out, and all the stories that came out about Caleb Williams' dad not wanting to go wherever they drafted or whatever, this is that, and this. They've been running the plays all year. We just ain't been noticing. And it's been working because I've never seen public opinion so low on a player that's obviously the best prospect in the draft class. Like, obviously. And like, I like Drake May a lot. Drake May's a really good prospect.
I think Drake May's great. I legitimately think he's a great prospect. I really do.
He is. Really do. Any other draft, he goes number 1 overall. Caleb Williams is everything he does, just better. Like, just better. Just he can throw it better. He can run much better. He's just a better athlete, a better thrower of the football. They're both similar levels of processing information at the line of scrimmage. Like there's no real reason you should talk yourself into or out of Caleb Williams, right? Like it's obvious he's the best. Let's look up some numbers real quick because we looked up some of these. Let's look up some numbers real quick. Man.
Let's look them up because I'm not gonna lie to you. I am a Drake May guy.
All right. And look, again, I like Drake May a lot. Drake May's really good. But also remember, Drake May's not as high profile as Caleb Williams. So
he's not.
There's stuff that he makes mistakes on that just ain't going to matter as much as it does with Caleb Williams. Okay. 27 rushing touchdowns. 93 passing touchdowns. 14 interceptions.
Yeah, that's crazy, dog. It's crazy. It's nuts.
14 interceptions.
It's nuts.
Woo. Woo. And the man is a true junior. Ain't no red shirt in that. Like, he had to burn his red shirt. He didn't get 3 full seasons. He got 2.5 seasons.
That's crazy.
Yes. This is the guy that people are trying to talk themselves out of right now. We talk about Kenny Pickett and having a good year with 42 touchdowns. Caleb Williams had 42 touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns one year. You know how hard it is to throw for 4,500 yards in college?
It's ridiculous.
in 14 games?
It's ridiculous. If USC had an average defense, the entire conversation is different.
Yes.
The entire conversation is different.
But they stink. Okay. Their defense stinks. Okay. Ain't like Caleb Williams turned the ball over there. 5 interceptions this year. Same as last. He just didn't throw for 42 touchdowns. He got more rushing touchdowns than he did last year. He just threw 12 less passing touchdowns. People are losing their mind on this whole Caleb Williams thing. Like, oh man, he's not as good as he was last year. Did he regress? He did. Nah, man, Cliff Kingsbury happened. That's it. That's all that happened. Cliff Kingsbury showed up and did what Cliff Kingsbury does. Limit quarterback success.
Drake May about to go number 1 overall because Cliff
Man, Cliff Kingsbury is a terrorist. I'm trying to tell people.
He's about to go number 1 overall.
He is a terrorist.
Hey man, you know what the crazy thing is? Speaking of plays, they gonna hit Caleb with some stuff we ain't seen yet because he be painting his nails. And he cried. He cried on the
you're gonna see a lot of that traditional masculinity pop up when it comes to him.
Oh yeah, we getting real homophobia.
Look, let me say, DTR won that game, I saw a lot of new comments like, is the brother got butterflies on his chest? Yeah.
I was like, come on, bro. It's his first, like, he played terrible his first game. We all know he did. He had a game-winning drive against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a pivotal game. It was an important game for the Browns. Let that man cry, man. Let that man cry, dog.
All right.
It meant a lot to him.
Just to point out, Drake May, really good player. Think he's
Very
good.
good player. Very good player.
55 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 13 rushing touchdowns in his career. Caleb Williams almost had that in a season. Dog, like in a much tougher conference.
Listen, I like Drake. I like Drake May too, but Jesus.
Yes, you can't justify it. There is no justifying this. But let me tell you right now, NFL teams are trying their hardest to justify not taking Caleb Williams. They are trying their damnedest to make taking somebody else a popular idea because for whatever reason, they decided that they want to be wrong about this dude.
Hey, no, I want y'all to remember. When we said this. When the draft cycle starts, and you start seeing the stories about him painting his nails and crying on the sidelines as reasons not to take him number one overall.
And they're not going to be explicit about it. But here's what they will say. We just don't feel like he's the leader that we want him to be, right? It's going to turn into that, right? They're going to be real disingenuous with what they're saying with it, right? But they're going to start using that kind of stuff against him. Remember they used CJ Stroud saying that like he thinks his play style is similar to like Deshaun Watson's. It's like, oh, he looks up to Deshaun Watson. How much of a leader can the CJ Stroud be? His agent is Deshaun Watson's agent. Oh, we can't take him.
I bet you they wish they took him number. I bet you they wish they took him number one overall.
I wish we took him number one overall. What you mean? What you mean? They? Who's they? Everybody wanted that.
I'm talking about I'm talking about the Carolina Panthers specifically. I bet they wish they took him.
And like, think about how dope CJ Stroud was as a passer. We know he wasn't much of a runner in college. His best passes season. 4,400 yards, 44 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's just Caleb Williams without the running. Dog, like you think CJ Stroud's dope? Wait till you see the version of CJ Stroud that can run like Lamar Jackson. And has a better arm.
Oh man.
Yes.
It's gonna be funny with Drake May. When Drake May go number one, it's gonna be funny. And I really like Drake May, but it's gonna be hilarious.
It's not just like Drake May is the best prospect to not be justifiable to go to. It ain't like taking Mitchell Trubisky, right? But it would be like, oh, you took Deshaun Watson, but Pat Mahomes ended up going behind him. Like, you might not be mad, but if you're the team that talks themselves, like who are let me look at the top quarterback prospects list. Let me see what they are right now. Top QB prospects, because I could just see the plays being called to be like, we got to find a way to get Caleb Williams or to make you feel like, remember they did this to Cam?
Mm-hmm.
They tried to convince you that Blaine Gabbert was just as good as Cam. Or that Jake Locker was just the same thing as Cam. Yo, that's a crazy play.
Jake Locker.
They really tried to convince you that. Hey, man, like, Shador, don't come out this year. I already heard Deion say he not coming out. Who gonna be the team that talked themselves into trading back for J.J. McCarthy instead of drafting Caleb Williams? Somebody. The Bears are gonna do it. The Bears are either signing Josh Dobbs and trading back for J.J. McCarthy. They're
not taking a quarterback. They're not gonna take a quarterback. I don't think. No. The Cardinals aren't gonna take a quarterback. The Bears are gonna take Caleb.
They're not. Take Caleb. No, they're not competent enough. They're not. I'm telling you right now, Cope. They're not competent enough. They are the team.
We've had this argument. Before. They're gonna take.
They traded a second-round pick for Chase Claypool. They don't know what they're doing, Cole. They don't know what they're doing. They don't. If there's a team that smells like the old Browns to me, it's the fucking Bears. And I know what that team does. What did the Browns do when there was a quarterback available? Trade back, sign a veteran. We're going to put it together. And what they doing after that? Firing everybody. That's what the Bears about to do. That's what the program they on. Hey, man. I feel bad for the young fella out. What's his name? I can't believe I'm blanking on it. Justin Fields. I feel bad for him because you know what? He didn't think he was getting drafted to the old Browns, but he got drafted to the old Browns, dog. Like I look at the Bears, I'm like, they are the old Browns. Like all this that we used to do before DePodesta, they do it now. Tell me you don't think that when you look at them.
I do, man, but it's also
getting excited about Tyson Bagent.
That's crazy. That's something we used to do.
That's yes. That's something Charlie Fry. Yes.
That's something we used to do. That's something we used to do. Not gonna lie. That's how we used to do.
Yes.
But bro, the decision is so obvious. I can't see it. I can't see it.
Cold. Somebody gonna take Bo Nix.
You know who gonna take Bo Nix?
Who?
The Steelers.
Look. JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix. Somebody gonna trade back for him. Meanwhile, Michael Penix Jr. gonna fall to the third round.
Hey, Michael Penix Jr. falls to the third round. You know where he need to go?
Stefanski Pantry?
Yes, absolutely.
No. You know who got Stefanski Pantry written all over them?
Who?
Jaden Daniels.
Ooh.
Man, he got Stefanski Pantry written all over him. But let me tell you something right now. A team will draft either Michael Pratt from Tulane, Bo Nix, or JJ McCarthy in the first round. And I just pray they don't do it in front of Caleb Williams. It's such an obvious choice, Cole. It is smacking you right in the face, but they are trying so hard to make it not seem obvious. And that tells me some of these owners don't want to take him number 1 overall. For whatever reason.
We know the reason. But for whatever reason.
Yes. Whatever reason you want to throw in there. And I don't know if they're going to be super convinced on Drake May enough to take him. I pray I pray every day that Marvin Harrison don't end up on the damn Bears. I really do. Like, please don't give that. And they got 2 choices. That brother going to be dodging. Hey, Marvin, scandal time, baby. It's time to drop to 15. All right. If I'm Marvin Harrison, I'm selling in that Michigan game, dog. I'm like, nah, I guess the lights were too bright. Like,
even if he mailed it in against Michigan, he ain't dropping to 15.
No, he gotta mail it in, and then in the post game interview say, "Fuck this shit, dog. I like video games better." Like, you know what I mean? Like, gotta truly be undesirable. Like, if I am look, if I am Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm taking that slide, dog. If I'm Caleb Williams and the Bears are the only are saying they didn't want to draft me, I don't feel good about myself because when have they ever been right about this? Like, nah, man. Nah. Y'all take JJ or somebody, dog. I know how that. Nah. The best news Caleb Williams can get is that the Bears don't want him. But I'll tell you right now, they are trying to talk themselves out of getting him in number 1 overall. And the only thing that's going to stop it is if the Arizona Cardinals get the number 1 overall pick, because the Cardinals are going to trade that pick to somebody. And guess what? There's a team smart enough to be like, yeah, okay, only 2 first-round picks? Like, I think Bobby Jones said that. He's like, let's be real. Realistically, Caleb Williams, the only fall his draft stock should do is whether the team trades 3 first-round picks to get him or 2. Like, that's the fall for Caleb Williams.
I'm telling you, bro. Hey, we gotta make a bet. We gotta make a bet on here, and the people gotta see it. I guarantee you, as Charles Barkley likes to say, guarantee the Chicago Bears are taking Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick if they get it. They're not gonna pass on him, dog. They're not gonna do it. We can make a bet on it right now.
Cole, I promise you, they will do something that makes you go, what? They gonna do something. Like they gonna do something in this draft or up to the draft that makes you go, but they had, why would they? Bro, the Bears are terrible. Like you about to go on the whole rant because you cannot believe that they would be this incompetent. And I'll tell you right now, they have showed us who they are, Cole. Year after year, they have showed us who they are.
I can't.
They about to fire Matt Eberflus after a year. They have showed us who they are. Their defensive coordinator got arrested. They're about to show us who they are again.
Dog, this is such a layup. It's such a layup. I cannot see them do it. I can't see them doing it, dog. I can't see it. I have to see it. I have to see the layups. I have to see it.
Remember how nervous we were that we weren't going to take Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
There could not be a bigger layup of all time. And we had seen us miss so many layups as a franchise that we were concerned. Okay.
This ain't Myles Garrett.
Yeah. Nah. Because you know what happened before Myles Garrett? Sachi sat on it. Well, you know what happened during the year of Myles Garrett? Sachi sat on the gun and changed the franchise, baby. All right. They ain't got no Sachi in there. Ryan Poles is not willing to jump on a grenade and sacrifice his career for the future. Shout out Sachi, man. He died for our sins, dog. We out here living a great life with the Browns. Out here getting program wins because Sachi jumped on that grenade. Ain't nobody jumping on that grenade in Chicago. Ain't nobody stopping the stupid train when the stupid train says trade a second round pick for H.A. McCarron. Ain't nobody on that.
Hey, second and the third, dog. Second and the third.
Never underestimate how stupid NFL owners can be. And I'm telling you right now, the Bears, they about to do some dumb shit because this stuff ain't coming out for no reason. This stuff is coming out because there's an owner out there who wants to sway public opinion so that when they don't take Caleb Williams when they should, they can get away with it. People will run cover on it and act like that's not crazy when it is crazy. Okay, we compare him to Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Okay, what are you doing? Like this is the guy. Dog, I don't think I gotta explain to people. I would draft Caleb Williams right now. Like if my team is getting close to the number 1 overall pick, I am forfeiting the games for the rest of the season. Like literally, I will forfeit. I got Caleb Williams. I'm gonna lock that down to the fourth quarter. We gonna suck. I'm drafting Caleb Williams the second the season's over. Like I'm working on the contract with the young brother. February 1st or whatever the new league dateline is, I'm calling Caleb Williams. I'm signing him. That's how impressive of a player he's been in college. And the fact that he's been this impressive with Cliff Kingsbury even sells me even more on it. Right? Like, okay, getting 7 wins with Cliff Kingsbury isn't easy. Ask Pat Mahomes. Man, they even win the Big 12 championship with Cliff Kingsbury. He the greatest quarterback we've ever seen in our life.
I'm telling you right now, the Bears taking him number 1 overall. If they get the number 1 overall pick, they gonna do it. They gonna do it.
I hope they do. Because that would give me faith in the scouting community. But I'll be honest with you, Cole. I ain't got why are we acting like the Bears aren't the same franchise that took Mitchell Trubisky too?
I hear you. You not wrong. Like you literally not wrong, bro. It's such an easy decision. I can't see them do it. I can't see them passing on him. I can't see it.
You know, we would have thought the same thing about Deshaun Watson in 2017. It's such an easy decision to go with Deshaun over Mitchell Trubisky. But you know what a lot of teams chose to do? Go with Mitchell Trubisky, dog. Enough to where Deshaun and Pat didn't go to like 8 picks later. Somebody gonna talk themselves into it, man. Somebody gonna talk themselves into it. I'm telling you right now. Somebody go, look, Pat Mahomes had 93 touchdowns in college, 29 interceptions, by the way, with Cliff Kingsbury. Might have won 12 games. Might have.
All right.
Cliff Kingsbury, ultimate terrorist. All right, like put him on the watch list. Somebody send Jack Bauer after him because that man is a terrorist. All right, like
call the FBI, the CIA,
the CTU. Call CTU. Okay,
call everybody.
Yeah, that man is a terrorist. He's a bag terrorist. He's a bank robber. Just robbing kids now. It's just he robbed adults for a little bit and was like, I don't get the same joy that I get from robbing old men as I do from robbing kids and they draft stock.
Oh man.
Yes. We
gotta talk about something though.
What we gotta talk about?
You brought him up a little bit earlier. We got to talk about him now. Myles Garrett deserves MVP, dog. I'm here.
Yes, I'm telling you, man. Hey, you weren't on board when I said it last week. Are you on board now? Are you on the train? 100%. Browns win the division. He MVP, and he got break the sack record.
Easy.
Hey, Cole, you want to get excited?
He break the sack record. He get an MVP.
You want to get excited? I'm gonna pull up the list of most sacked quarterbacks this season.
I'm gonna like this.
Oh, you might enjoy and get excited. Now, right now, Myles is on track for a measly 22.1 sacks. So he's got to kick it up into high gear. And let's be honest, Myles usually has like a 3-sack game. I don't think he's had that yet. So
he had a couple 2-sack games, but he hasn't had a 3-sack game yet.
Yeah, I mean, 2-sack games, that happens all the time. But like he usually has like a 3.5, sometimes a 4. He ain't had that yet. So like he's still due for a big one. He ain't even had his big game yet, to be honest with you. And it makes sense that he hasn't had his big game yet because you look at the quarterbacks he done played. These aren't the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL for real. But then you look at the top 10 in most sacked quarterbacks. Now, Sam Howell getting sacked more than anybody. 51 sacks. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Zach Wilson, number 2. He on the schedule. And if it's not him, it's Tim Boyle. Something tells me. Tim Boyle ain't going to get out there better than Zach Wilson. So that's still on the schedule. Russell Wilson, number 4. In most sacks taken. You know he got a sack taken per game streak. He's went like 29 games in a row, taking a sack each game.
That's crazy.
Well, he plays the Browns next week. So that's on the list. Justin Fields at 7. He's on the list of upcoming games.
Hey, Justin Fields he already know what that feel like.
Yeah, Myles got 4.5 last time he played him. So Myles gonna come in off all that confidence and shit. Trevor Lawrence, number 8 on that list.
Ooh.
And then Joe Burrow, number 10. Now, unfortunately for Myles, he doesn't get to play Joe Burrow this season, but he does get to play his backup, Jake Browning. And let me tell you, probably gonna be the same story. Probably gonna be the same story. So you look at that list, you say to yourself, I can see Myles having some good games coming up, more so than he's had already. What is your probability percentage on Myles Garrett breaking the sack record this season?
What's the sack record, just so I know?
22.5.
22.5.
So he had to get to 23.
So he got to get 10 more.
10 more.
10 more season.
A whole all-pro season's worth of sacks.
So it's 22.5. But that was the 16-game season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get 10 more in 6 games.
Yes.
10 more in 6 games, technically.
I mean, if he gets more than that, he breaks it, but yes.
Man, when you look at who he's got up, bro, he's gotta have multiple multi-sack games, but he just had one against the Steelers.
And the Ravens.
I
think he had 3.5 sacks in those 2 games. And that's the Steelers and the Ravens.
Man, he gonna have at least one game where he get like 3 sacks, bro. The rest of the schedule, it might be that.
And keep
the
in mind
that Bengals game back to back might be the games he actually breaks it.
Keep in mind, there are moments where Miles just decides to get 2 sacks back to back. Like that's happened. Where he's like, "All right, my turn." Like, that sack he had to start the game. Yeah, man, most incredible sack I've seen in my fucking life. Like, I've never seen somebody get back. I didn't see it live. I was reading the super chat and then the sack. I'm like, what the happened? Like the crowd going nuts. Kenny Pickett's in the red. What happened? No, I looked away for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. He was back there. He beat Kenny Pickett to his drop.
We got to see how this Denver game goes. Like if he gets a couple off on Russ, like I'd be like, yeah, he's 100% gonna break it. He's gonna break it this year.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
The rest of the quarterbacks he plays after this, because Russ is still mobile, so like there's a little bit of that element.
That's the thing. Hold on, that's the thing though. Russ is still mobile.
He's still mobile,
but that's what gets him sacked so much. Because he tries to dance around back there. And you know what he does? He holds on to the ball.
Holds the ball.
Now, we'll see if he does it this week. But Russ ain't never got rid of that thing quickly, ever. All right.
Well, you can't hold the ball. You cannot hold the ball against Miles.
You can't do it against the Browns, like, period. But, yeah, he's going to try to hold on to that thing. And he's going to start dancing. And let me tell you, Miles is a better athlete than Russ. In every way. Miles gonna get at least 2. Like, Miles getting at least a 2-piece. Like, the only thing that can stop it is Za'Darius gets 6 or something like that. Like, something crazy like that pops up. But I'll tell you right now, Cole, Miles getting a 2-piece against Russ.
If he get the 2-piece against Russ and he get to 15, he's breaking sack record.
Now, look, he's going to have to get a lot of sacks against Russ because you know who ain't going to be playing those games the next week? Matthew Stafford. Let me tell you something. That ball going there, he's spiking that shit before he let that ball go on his hand.
Is Matthew Stafford hurt? Is he hurt, though?
No, he's still healthy. I thought he finished the game versus the Seahawks.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Geno that had the issues staying around.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, but Matthew Stafford, he going to get rid of that thing quickly.
Yeah.
Russ gonna play around.
He ain't get no sacks in there. He ain't get no sacks in that Rams game.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll see who plays because if Tyson Bagent's back there, might break the record that day. Might just get it that day.
Ooh.
Right?
Hey, if he breaks the record, they have to give him MVP. If he breaks the record and the Browns make the playoffs with all the quarterback, the missing Nick Chubb and Watson going out, gotta give him MVP. Gotta give him to him.
It's a close argument, especially when nobody has really emerged. But yeah, there's some CJ Stroud up there in sacks taken. He's on the schedule, number 12. And you know the young fella, he been balling, so he might think, hey, I ain't gotta get rid of this ball. I ain't changing nothing against Miles. I done played against Chase Young. Like, you know, I done played against Aiden Hutchinson. It ain't that different.
Okay.
Then you're gonna get grabbed from behind.
Didn't he throw like 3 picks against the Cardinals?
Yes, he did.
Look, man, the Browns defense is just a little bit better.
A little bit better than the Cardinals.
Just a little bit better. Just a little bit better.
Yeah. Now, fortunately for him, he gets us on the road.
Yeah, that's gonna help. That's gonna be a tough game. Like, no joke. That's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah. Because look, CJ is just confident enough to say, you know what, dog, I'm throwing at Denzel Ward. And that's going to be fascinating to see if he can get Tank Dell off on Denzel Ward. Because if he can, then CJ's the MVP. Like, the MVP will be on the line in that game.
Miles versus CJ is personal.
Hey, man, if that's the case, CJ, slide, brother. Like, just 1-2 throw. 1-2 throw. Did you see Miles? Like, there was a play where basically Kenny Pickett got rid of the ball as soon as he touched it. Had a pocket time of 2.25. If he would have held that thing to 2.3 seconds, he was done. He would have strip sacked and died. Miles is right there. No, this is an insane level that I don't think we've ever seen a defensive player play at like this high of a level that he's been at this consistently this year. Like, he's always been a freakishly good player. Nah, it's different. Again, this is Bron on the Heat. This is like, oh, this is what they were talking about when it comes to potential. Like, remember that with Bron? We was watching Bron first in Cleveland. It was like, oh, yeah, he's already lived up to the hype. Look at what he won an MVP and then took the Cavs to 60 wins. And we thought that was all that Bron was going to be. Then that second year with the Heat, we started understanding why he made that move. We started to become much more understanding of the developmental roadblocks we might have put on LeBron's way. Same thing happened with Joe Woods, man. We was like, Joe Woods ain't that bad. You took him away from him for 1 second. It was like, hey, man, Joe Woods really was a terrorist. He was holding Miles to 16 sacks. That's crazy. Like, think about that. He is 3 sacks away from having 3 16-sack seasons back to back. And if he does it, it'd be a disappointment. Like, if he just had 16 sacks for the last 3 years, we'd be like, he could have been better.
Yeah, man. It's his year. It's his season. It's his season, man. It's his season.
Man, let me tell you, we going to need him too. Look, because CJ Stroud, we going to need him to get those sacks, dog. Day. So if Miles stays healthy, the games are lining up in a way that would suggest that he could be very successful.
He could get 10 more sacks. He can get 10 more sacks.
Hey, you know who I wish we had on the schedule? Josh Dobbs. Let me tell you.
Man, we had the Vikings.
Josh Dobbs going to take those sacks, dog.
Josh Dobbs might try to help him out real quick. I got you.
Yeah, he going to slide right into him, dog. So, Miles, stay healthy. Do what you can. But that sack record of MVP, I ain't saying it can be yours, but I ain't saying it can't. You know what I mean?
Shot, man. MVP and Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, of course. Got to give them both. Got to give them both. Can't say he the MVP and not give him Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, you got to get them both. Give him the Triple Crown. We not playing this year. Triple Crown. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP.
Oof.
We going 3. We going 3.
Give him the gold jacket already.
Hey, look, honestly, after this season, he could walk off into the sunset and retire. He'd be in the Hall of Fame 5 years later. Like, he would. Like, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
You're not joking.
Yeah, I'm not joking. Like, he can, like, if Myles Garrett at any point now in his career could retire and be in the Hall of Fame in 5 years. Like, that's the level of player he is. Last time we had a player like that was Joe Thomas, who just went in the Hall of Fame 5 years after he retired. Like, and if they respected running back more, Nick Chubb would be on that program too. But unfortunately for him, he played an era where they don't respect it. But he should.
Absolutely.
He should. But yeah, Miles for MVP. I'm glad that you on the program. I'm glad that you smoking the agenda. I appreciate that you on the agenda. Real quick, let's touch on DTR. What do you think the future is for the young fella there?
I mean, we keep it quick. He did enough to get the job done on Sunday. Happy for him. Looks significantly better than he did his first start against the Ravens earlier this season. Significantly better. Still don't think he's really ready, but I do want to see. They already announced he's going to start against Denver, so I'm glad he's going to play again. I want to see what he looks like in that game. I think if he plays well, you ride it out for the rest of the year. If he's struggling, they might try to turn to Joe Flacco, which I have my own concerns about that, but I think that's just where they're at this point.
I would agree. I don't think they're super eager to turn it to Joe Flacco, to be honest with you. Like, I think that they would want to do that as like if they feel like the kid's getting to the points where he's costing them games or coming close to costing them games. I think they want to stick with DTR as long as possible. But if it becomes untenable, they'll get off of that. But we also got to bring into this conversation, because we're going to condense a couple segments into one so this podcast don't end up being 4 hours again. Kevin Stefanski, Coach of the Year. Andrew Berry, Executive of the Year.
Can I rant really quick?
Go ahead. Go off, King.
I'm so sick of this fucking fan base, dog. I'm so sick of the fan base, dog. I'm so sick of this fucking fan base.
Hey, hold on. Talk. Not you, valuable QnColb listeners.
Not y'all. Not y'all.
Not
love
you.
y'all. We'll always love y'all. But these people who are still trying to get rid of Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, I just the dumbest people I've ever seen on Twitter. Like, I don't understand how you could watch these two build a football team,
build a program.
We call it the program if you want. That's been getting somewhere between average to absolutely horrific quarterback play. Be 7-3 despite all of that, knowing the history of this franchise since it came back in 1999, and still not want the Browns to keep them here. I don't understand what these people are watching. They are 7-3. They've beaten the 49ers. They've beaten the Ravens. They beat the Colts when we shouldn't have beat the Colts, to be completely honest with you. They've beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think I just saw a stat, since Kevin Stefanski's been the coach, they are tied for the most wins against AFC North teams in the division. It's us and the Steelers.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
It's us and the Steelers. What more could you possibly fucking want than a team that lost Nick Chubb second week of the season, lost Jack Conklin first week of the season, lost Deshaun Watson for the season after he had a comeback victory against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, where we never fucking win ever? What more could you possibly want than to keep these two here forever? You know what the difference between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns is?
What's the difference?
Stability. Continuity. When things go bad in Pittsburgh or things go bad in Baltimore, they have a disappointing season, don't make the playoffs, whatever. You know what they don't do?
What didn't they do?
We're going to fire our coach. We're going to fire our GM. We're going to start all the way over. You know what they do? They say, no. We're going to switch the players out. Maybe get a new quarterback. Get some new linebackers or something. Whatever's not working, we'll fix it. We'll come back. And they do that, and they keep fucking winning. Every year. Every single year, they win. They either in the playoffs or they in the playoff race the entire year. And if it don't go right, they fix it. They still in the same place, either played in the playoffs or try to get to or almost get to the playoffs. They do it every year. Why don't you want that? And as Cleveland Browns fans that haven't seen almost no success since the teams come back, why don't you want to do that? They've been showing you what works for decades now. They've been showing you what works, and you have it here right now. Q, bro, we've had good executives here before.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Man, I'm getting so angry. I'm forgetting dude's name. We had Kyle Shanahan here in Cleveland. We've had Mike McDaniels here in Cleveland. We've had a bunch of different guys who are successful NFL head coaches in Cleveland, and we never kept the staff around long enough to keep these guys here and have some success. Now we got Bill Callahan, who's the best offensive line coach in football. We got Jim Schwartz, who turned this defense in 2022. That was horrible. Everybody hated it. They are the best defense in the NFL currently, as we are making this video. Being the best defensive football all season. And you want to fire the head coach he's on his staff. You want to fire that head coach. That's what you want to do. Andrew Berry, listen, if you hate the Deshaun Watson trade, that's fine. When does he get credit for DeJuan Jones being able to step in and be arguably a Pro Bowler for Jack Conklin as a fourth round
with no first round picks?
With no first round picks. Martin Emerson, third round pick, lockdown corner. You get credit for that? Grant Delpit should be a Pro Bowler this year. You get credit for that? Isn't JOK like tied for first in tackles for loss this season? Does he get credit for that?
He is. He's really good.
What about this whole defense? Like Dalvin Thomas playing well. Shelby Harris
forgot about what? Grant Delpit.
Oh, I thought I said Grant. I said Grant.
I don't know if you did, but Grant Delpit also in there. My bad. My bad. Keep cooking. Keep cooking.
What about Dalvin Tomlinson?
Mm-hmm.
What about Shelby Harris? Hell, Jordan Elliott looked better. Like I don't know if people noticed Jordan Elliott played really well.
Maurice Hurst out here rubbing his belly.
Hey,
Obo Okoronkwo.
That's probably Obo Okoronkwo is probably his best move on defense. That's full of them. Oh, I can't even forget. I can't forget this one. You get credit for Dustin Hopkins at all? You get credit for that? You know, they're 7-3.
All he did was trade for somebody who lost their kicking competition.
How many game winners has Dustin Hopkins hit already this year?
I haven't lost count. At least 3.
At least 3 on a 7-3 team, huh? You get credit for that? Like, what do these people want? What the fuck do these fans want, dog? I don't understand. They're winning. How often have you seen Cleveland Browns win?
Mm.
You know when they started winning? Well, we got Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. That's when they started winning games. That's when they started winning.
It's funny to me too. Like the whole quarterback conversation, how people think it's so easy to get back up quarterbacks. We watched this franchise for 35 years, struggle to get anybody to play the quarterback position decently. And now, because of the work that Kevin Stefanski does to elevate the floor of quarterback play, we now think it's super easy to find quarterbacks and get mad when we don't. But also, I would like to point out one thing. The Browns have won 7 or more games, I believe, 4 times from 1999 to 2020. Like before Kevin Stefanski in expansion, they won 7 games 4 times. I'll point them out. 2001, Butch Davis. 2002, Butch Davis. Had to jump all the way to 2007, Romeo Crennel. And then 2014, they won 7 games with Mike Pettin. So it's 4. Okay, 5. Just want to say it out loud. 5 times. They've won 7 games since 1999. That's Kevin Stefanski's absolute floor. Like, if things go as wrong as possible, he'll win 7 games.
He's won at least 7 games every year he's been here. They have 7 wins through 10 games.
Unless they lose out, he will, like, 7 wins is like the floor. Like, he got 8, 11, 7 this year.
And let's talk about why he had 7. He had 7 last year, obviously, because that defense was bad, because Joe Woods is horrible. Special teams was bad because Mike Prefer was also horrible, and K. York stunk.
Mm-hmm.
And Deshaun got suspended for what, 11 games?
Yes.
That's why they won 7 games last year.
To be fair, all their own fault.
That was their fault. That was all their fault.
They brought in Deshaun. They drafted Kate York, and They continued to keep Joe Woods, even though like we thought that Joe Woods. We forget going into 2022. A lot of us were on this defense gonna be good train because it felt like they figured it out at the end of 2021 and all this shit.
Good in 2021, and Baker was the reason that they lost a bunch of one score games. That's
Baker was not even one score games, like multiple games where you just didn't need to turn the ball over.
2021, and this stat is burned into my brain. They were 8-9 in 2021. They lost 6 games by 3 points or less, with Baker Mayfield having absolutely the worst season of his career. He was horrible. That's why they didn't make the playoffs in 2021. If they would have if they would have moved to Case Keenum, they at least would have had a winning season. Case winning you at least one of those 3-point loss games.
Hey man, who do you think has a higher win percentage, Kevin Stefanski or Kyle Shanahan?
Kevin.
Yes. Kevin has a higher win percentage than Kyle Shanahan.
What more do people want, bro? Like, what more do people want? Like, I don't understand. As a fan base who has experienced nothing but futility and just outright bullshit from this franchise, what more do you want than a general manager and a head coach that win, despite all of it, find ways to win? Forget coach of the year and executive of the year. Kevin should absolutely get coach of the year, by the way. If they make the playoffs, he absolutely deserves to get coach of the year. But fuck all of that, man. Just give them the extensions. Give them the extensions now so we don't even have to talk about this anymore.
Is he up for an extension? I think this is the last year of his contract, so he's got to get an extension.
Just keep them here till 2030. Like, let's just not even have to worry about having these conversations anymore. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that the fan base is still even fucking talking about this. It's so stupid to me.
Yep. You want to know what, like, he's had pretty inconsistent quarterback play. Somehow, this man is ranked in the top half of the league most of his career as a Cleveland Browns head coach in offensive points.
It's over. The evidence is overwhelming, dog. Like, what more do people want?
We're 14. Like, we think our offense stinks right now. We're 14th in the league.
with arguably worst in the league quarterback play, 14th in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Average.
Ooh, let me tell you what changed drastically this year, though. Defensive rankings. Like, 21, 13, 26 yards, 17, 5. That's when he fooled us. 14, 1. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't see the argument. Like, there's no intelligent argument for why to get rid of Kevin, man. Like, at this point, and I'm going to be honest with you, this season could completely fall apart. They could lose every single game left. He's still getting that extension. Because you know what you can obviously say? There was nobody left. Like, dog, this team had nobody left. They got nobody left. And I still walked into that game versus Pittsburgh like, oh, we're still the better team. Like, that game against Pittsburgh was a program win. And what I mean by program is, yeah, we all this shit going on, but guess what, man? We better than Purdue. Like, that's what that was. Like, that's like the same confidence if you're Ohio State, you go into playing against Michigan State because you're like, nah, Michigan State ain't beating us. Like, we not that bad that we gonna lose to Michigan State this year. Like, I know that what's the dude's Devin Brown, or no, it's not Devin Brown, it's who's Ohio State quarterback this year?
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord might not be shit, but guess what? He not losing to Maryland.
Look at it like this. Even if they only beat the Bears, the Jets, and the Bengals without Burrow, they're gonna be honestly.
10-7. It's tougher to beat the Bengals for us without Burrow than with them.
Like, if they only win those 3 games, they are 10-7. They win any other game besides those 3, they're going to be 11 wins and up.
If he eclipses 11 wins with this chaos, yeah, man, I think everybody who said that he should be fired should be arrested under suspicion of being an operative for the Steelers. Like, because that's crazy. That's like, we need to deport some people after that. Like, that's crazy.
Can't believe we got to talk about this, dog. Still can't believe we got to talk about it.
And the one I think is really inexcusable is like, you can't sit here and tell me Andrew Berry has any, like, Andrew Berry is so safe. Even when it looked shaky for Kevin, we was like, Andrew ain't going nowhere. Kevin might, but Andrew ain't going nowhere. And you know what? I got to circle back to something. A lot of people were like, oh, this is just like 2020 when Freddie Kitchens said we'd be fine and we were 2-2. Then we played San Francisco. What the made you think that Freddie Kitchens and Kevin Stefanski got anything in common?
You mean 2019, not 2020, but I feel you.
Yeah, 2019. You remember that? When people were like, oh yeah, you think they're going to be fine? That's what Freddie Kitchens said, and look how that went. At this point, we know that Kevin Stefanski is a better coach than Freddie Kitchens.
It's just stupid. Like, they just come up with the dumbest arguments in the world to get rid of these dudes. I'm like, bro, what is wrong with y'all, man? What's wrong with you? Don't y'all want to win? Don't y'all want to win? You know, it's like you're tired of being losers.
Yeah, you know how, like, amazing. Let me tell you something. Like, I don't think Browns fans appreciate what's going on here. The Browns have built a program. Like, they're a program now. Like, they have a standard and shit. We got veterans that's been on the team forever that we drafted. Like, this is turned into a legitimate program where it's like, DTR was talking about, yeah, man, one of the vets on the team, David Njoku, just told me I just got to relax and get in. I'm like, God, we got to the point to where David Njoku's giving veteran advice.
He was hugging him on the sideline and everything, just talking to him.
Yes. You know, bring it along Martin Emerson as the next leader of the team. Like, it's.
You know what Njoku did?
He went out there and said, accountability, like
self-accountability, dog. He tweeted it and he said it. He's like, I ain't gonna lie, it's a great team win, but I played like shit today, and I gotta be better, and I'm gonna be better. But I just want to acknowledge that I ain't get it done today. Man, we ain't never had that. We ain't never had that since the team came back. Never. No.
Because the stability breeds competence, which breeds programs, which means you develop more players. Taki is a great example. One shit until Kevin and them got his hands on him, right? Like, figured it out what to do. Okay, we're just gonna keep you here. We got a plan with your young fella. And then Jim Schwartz like, yeah, we use him as a mic. All right, cool. We figured it out. We're gonna use him as a mic. Boom. That's his position. Good. Grant Delpit. They didn't keep the same defensive coordinator, but they saw, okay, Grant was really good at this. We're going to come into this year. Grant, do that shit you was really good at last year. Okay, I'm going to do the shit I was really good at last year. I got better at it. Grant Delpit, really good player right now, right? Like, this is the kind of stuff that makes you develop young players well, because you have continuity to say, oh, no, Grant can do this. And then you make Grant do this, and then Grant does that. He does that well. That's what development is. That's what a program is. That's what the Cleveland Browns are. That's why the standard has risen for this team from, you know, a team that you might expect to win 4 games to a team that went to 7. And now they're starting to go above it, where all this chaos happens and they still could contend for the division, like a Pittsburgh used to, like a Baltimore used to, right? We're one of those teams now. And I want to point out how difficult that is to establish when you ain't got a fucking quarterback. Okay? Like,
they might win 11. They might get 11 wins playing DTR and PJ Walker multiple games. Possibly Joe Flacco.
He could get multiple wins with 3 different quarterbacks.
Maybe 4.
And which is, I wonder if Watson going to end up being the leading passer, because I don't think he will end up being the leading passer. And if that's true, what Mayfield, Brissett, and then somebody or Watson, either way, 3 different leading passers. Like, I don't think people, this is very tough to do, is to establish a program when you're building from the Browns. Like, and then you establish a program without a quarterback. Like, hopefully Deshaun comes back next year, he balls out. But, hey, man, the older he gets, the more hits he takes. Like, the less likely that looks like it's going to come. But you know what? I still think they're going to be fine record-wise because we have much more infrastructure in place. It's not on Deshaun to build it all. We're asking Deshaun to come here and play a role at the end of the day now, because we done built out everything else. He could do leadership and all that, even though we got Miles, we got Nick Chubb to do all of that, but he does a good job at the whole leadership in the locker room stuff, in the locker room, in the building, on the field, right? But he does a good job with that. But like, they're not asking the quarterback or Deshaun Watson to be the system, right? Just be a cog in the wheel, because we got a thing in place. And when you have that, I promise you, if Deshaun Watson doesn't work out, and you could quote my words on this, if Deshaun Watson doesn't work out, it won't be another 20-year gap between the Browns and the next time they find a franchise quarterback. If they stay stable, if they stay consistent, they keep Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, they'll have another quarterback here who will play at a level of Baker Mayfield, more likely above him, within the next 4 years. They'll find it, because when you have situations like that, that's when you can find good quarterbacks, because you could develop them, you can figure out what you need that quarterback to be, and you can get the traits. It's no mistake. You look at the teams that's been able to go from franchise quarterback to franchise quarterback, they're usually very stable organizations. You look at the teams that go from no quarterback to no quarterback to no quarterback, it's people who fire the coaches every 3 years. So the fact that we've even gotten here, I'm telling you now, like, if Deshaun don't work out next year, by the end of that contract, by the time they done paying with that, they'll have their next guy. Because that's how a good franchise can slot people into position. And we know what Kevin does with propping up guys. I mean, he should get the same love that Kyle Shanahan gets, because Kyle ain't never had to win a game with PJ Walker. Go back to Deshaun for 2 games and then switch back to DTR. This ain't no shit Kyle's done. Kyle looking at this like, damn. Damn, boy, hey, wilding over there. Like, how many quarterbacks? And like, it's crazy, not just dog. That you went from Deshaun to PJ back to Deshaun. Now you on DTR, and you might end up on Joe Flacco. Hey, man, you can say all you want about how the offense hasn't been as good as the defense this year, but like, tell me with a straight face that the injuries have nothing to do with that. Just take one dude off that injury report, and the Browns are probably going to be like a top 11 or 12 offense, if not a top 10 offense. If just Nick Chubb alone was healthy.
I was about to say just Nick Chubb. If they just had Nick Chubb, what's their record right now? They're probably 8-2.
Hell yeah, they don't lose that Pittsburgh game. Honestly, I don't think they lose the Seattle game.
9-1.
Only game they lose is like Baltimore.
How much easier is DTR's first start if they have Nick Chubb?
You know what I'm saying? It could be close. Like,
hey, young fella, get a ball to Nick. We'll be all right.
We just go ahead and off the Nick, and it might have worked. Like, that's what I said. If both were healthy, if Deshaun and Nick were healthy, dog, this team could be undefeated. Like, this team could be undefeated very easily, and it wouldn't require crazy effort from Deshaun Watson. It would honestly require like 11 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like 5 interceptions.
We literally telling him, hey man, don't lose the game. Don't lose the game. We'll be all right.
And that's what I hope, and to segue onto that, I hope Deshaun realizes what kind of situation he got himself traded to, which is a very good one, right? Because he could be in Atlanta, like he was about to be. And he could be in hell. He could be in Carolina, right? But he in Cleveland, so he picked the right team to go to organization-wise. Because look, the only reason why people are giving his career a chance right now is because he's on the Browns, and the Browns are still good.
I want to make sure we establish something. That is crazy to say.
Hey man, shout out to Kevin and Andrew. But like, let's be real though. If he's on any other team, ain't nobody waiting for next year, right? Like, since he's on the Browns, people might wait this thing out and be like, hey, because let's be honest here. If there's somebody in a position to change their game and get away with it. Between all those guys I talked about, Josh Allen got to play like Josh Allen because that's all they got is Josh Allen. Joe Burrow got to play like Joe Burrow because Zach Taylor ain't the system. Joe Burrow is the system there. Hey, Deshaun, brother, this ain't Houston no more. You ain't the system. You just got to be a role player, dog, and you can eat off of this. Like, that's all. Be an elite role player. All right, make a couple plays in the fourth quarter. That's all he got to do. And you know what? He can win enough to win.
We asked Deshaun to be Aaron Gordon. You ain't Jokic, brother. You just got to be Aaron Gordon. That's all you got to be. You got to be
Jamal Murray.
Be Alex Caruso.
Yep.
Be Alex Caruso.
Yeah, he ain't even got to be Jamal Murray. That's Nick Chubb, right? Like, we got Jokic, Miles, right? Like, all you got to be is on time, right? Just get that ball up and down the court, throw it into Jokic, set a couple screens, get everybody in the right place, check in and out the right stuff. We straight. That's it. That's it.
Alex Caruso, brother. That's it. That's all we need.
Hey,
man. Great defense. That's it.
Hey, it's like when the Golden State Warriors traded for Chris Paul. They just need somebody to run that second unit. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what we need for Deshaun. Like, we don't need nothing crazy. And I don't think it would be seen as a failure if he doesn't throw for 5,000 yards again. If he doesn't have to and the team wins a ton of games, nobody's going to give a fuck what you paid him. People don't even cry about how much Jimmy Garoppolo got, right? And what they traded to get Jimmy Garoppolo because they won games. Keep in mind the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo was ass the whole time. Nobody cared. Why? They won games. When you ever heard somebody cry about Jimmy Garoppolo's money?
Never.
He got money. He got paid. When you ever hear about people cry about what they gave up to get Jimmy Garoppolo? Nobody give a fuck. Like, he wasn't even good. He just won, right? I think Deshaun could legitimately be good in this role. But at the end of the day, it ain't all on him. Just, make your shots. Hey, we already got LeBron and we already got Kyrie on this team, big dog. All you need to do is spot up in that corner and be Chris Bosh. And Chris Bosh got rings too. That's what we need him to be. That's all we need Deshaun to be.
You just got to be Kevin Love, dog. You just got to be Kevin Love.
Hey, look. What did both of those players have to do? Had to adjust to life not surrounded around him, right? Same thing Deshaun Watson got to do, right? And he went from this is very much Kevin Love if you really think about it, right? Because he went from Houston, hey, I got to put up all these crazy numbers and losing seasons and do all this shit and be the MVP of the league candidate or whatever. Then you come to Cleveland and LeBron like that corner. Stand in that corner and wait. Okay? That's all you got to do, brother. That's all you got. And it took Kevin a while. It took Kevin a while to accept that. It took Chris Bosh a while to accept that. I put up 40 on my. I'm still Bosh. I'm still Kevin Love. And then eventually, get to a point where Kevin Love, what he had to do on that sequence to win the championship, Kyrie had to make it 3. LeBron had to make one of the greatest blocks of all time. All we asked Kevin Love to do, stay in front of Steph Curry for 5 seconds, right? Like, you know what I mean? Look, the Browns win the championship with Deshaun Watson. The reality is Nick Chubb probably gonna get like 150, like 152, 2 touchdowns. Miles probably gonna have about 3.5. All we need Deshaun to do, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. We good, baby. We good. We good. That's it. That's all we needed in Baltimore. That's to beat the best team in the NFL on the road, down 14. Literally all we asked Deshaun Watson to do was Kirk Cousins plus. Short throws, and then use that plus to run on 3rd down, baby. And then you know what? We right there. We with it. We right there. And if we just got that, we good. We good. That's all. That's the adjustment that Deshaun Watson's going to have to make. It is hilarious because I don't think he thought that coming into this. I think he thought, I'm coming to Cleveland. I'm about to be the LeBron of this. And then he took one look at Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb and was like, I'm not LeBron. Like, I bet he's realizing that right now. He's not LeBron in this situation.
Oh, bro, if they win, if they get double-digit wins without you for the majority of the year, look, bro.
Oh, you not LeBron, bro. You Kevin.
You not LeBron.
That dude 9'5", that's Bron. That's the face of the team. What we need you to do, hey, look, we eventually learned to love Kevin, right? It took us a while, but then Kevin was the last guy on the team from the old era, and we was like, we love Kevin Love, and we eventually love Kevin just like we love the rest of them dudes. Okay? But them the dudes we loving right now, right? It's Bron and Kyrie, and all I need you to do, hey, stand in the corner, set a screen, take a charge, make some threes. That's it, man. That's it. And you ain't got to be running around playing hero ball for that, Deshaun. All you got to do.
We don't need that, bro. We do not need that.
I pray that somebody can just be real with him so he can understand it, because it's not an insult. You getting older. You just got to change your game. You in a perfect spot. If you want to revive your career in the way that you want it to be revived, this is how you do it, bruh. Just embrace being Kevin Love. Because Kevin Love got championships. Okay.
Well, championships.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was on the Heat last year. We went to a couple championship games. Well, went to a ton of championship games. But Kevin Love, hey, look, no matter what you say, we talk about Kevin Love differently than we did when he was in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
There's more esteem when we talk about Kevin Love. We say that shit with our chest now. Like, hey, Kevin Love, like, one of the best power forwards. Like, look at what he did before LeBron on it. We show that love. We was talking all kind of shit. It's garbage for numbers. He wasn't really putting up that. It's just he's just on a bad team. We talk all kind of shit about the numbers. We call him Rudy Gay, all that. But now we put some esteem on that name. Hey, that's Chris Bosh didn't get that respect until the Heat ended. Right, the Heat ended, and we realized, man, Chris Bosh was one of a kind. Like, I'm telling you, that's what he has to be. He gotta figure that out. Once he figured that out, he good. And look, who knows what Nick Chubb is after this ACL injury, but I'm not about to bet on him not being the same dude. We know Miles is gonna be Miles. And hey, Deshaun, all we need you to do, spot up in that corner, throw that shit to Amari. Make a couple deep throws that make us go, that's a $230 million throw. And then, like, that's all. That's it. That's it, dog. That's it. Literally, that's it. Like, what you did in the Arizona game, you do that every game, we'll be undefeated, probably with a couple rings. Like, that's it. Like, that's how good this team is. People are acting like he needs to play so much better than that for the Browns. We think that this team could legitimately win the division with DTR. Nah, dog. If he plays like that, we might win it all. Screw everything else. Russ didn't have to be that good to win them rings in Seattle. Like, hey, nah, man. Like, I'm telling you, Deshaun, you'll get that ring. You just got to be like, hey, man, I'm spotting up in the corner. And the thing is, he learned that. It looked like he was learning that in Tennessee, in this game versus Arizona, in the Baltimore game. And I think this injury going to force his hand to where he's like, yep, just got to learn to play complimentary football, man. That's it. Double under. Just take the dusty and get on with the game, bro. Like,
$230 million role player is crazy.
Hey. Ain't nobody gonna say a damn thing if you win it. So
yeah, nobody gonna say nothing if you win. That's all you gotta do.
Hey, it ain't what you planned, but it's still on plan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, does it matter? Like,
bro, we don't care. We just trying to win. We just trying to win. Dog.
If the shirts you bought online don't fit like you thought it was, but it's still a good look, hey man, that's how I wanted it. Right? That's how I ordered it. Like, that's it. That's it. It don't matter how it gets done. It just matters that it gets done. Somebody, you could have had that quarterback play hypothetically for 200. Like, nah, I mean, we got it. So shut the fuck up. Like, we got it. We're gonna win our rings. We're gonna be fine. Like, how many people were crying about the Kevin Love trade? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Love trade. Oh, they gave up too much, and they should have kept Andrew Wiggins. And imagine this team if they would have kept Andrew Wiggins.
Hey, hold on. Don't disrespect All-Star starter, NBA champion.
Nah. That was cool a year ago. That shit ain't flying now. I ain't see Andrew Wiggins since that championship. Have you? Like, Andrew Wiggins. They gave all that money to Kevin Love just so he could be a spot-up shooter, and we came back 3-1 on the Warriors, and he got to stop. So what you want? He had 2 points in that game. Didn't nobody care? Like, we gave him another contract after that. Matter of fact, okay? Yeah. Didn't nobody care? Then he started taking charges at the tail end of that contract that everybody was critical of, and then we got mad when we cut him. Like, don't nobody actually care about these contracts? Like,
Nobody cares, dog. Nobody cares.
no, man. If you fun enough and you playing well enough, don't nobody. He go out there throw for 250 yards a game and 2 touchdowns. Ain't nobody gonna give a fuck about no contract. What did you do in 2020? Will he be in 2020? Because the team would probably be fucking 11-0 in the first 11 weeks, right? Like it's that simple. He's doing enough to help him win. Like, it don't matter. We was ready to put Brock Purdy in the MVP category for shit like that. Like, what? Why do people act like the numbers have to be amazing? It don't. Like, the numbers don't got. The only number that has to be amazing for people to be on board with it is the win-loss record, and that's cool. Then people gonna be on board with it. And they try their hardest to ignore that win-loss record Deshaun Watson got, by the way, with the Cleveland Browns. They are trying so hard to not bring it up.
What was it? It's really 4-1. I think it's 5-1.
It's 4-1 this year. It was 7-4 since he joined the Browns.
Isn't it technically 8-4 because he technically started that Indiana game?
It's technically 8-4
in Indianapolis. Yeah, Indianapolis.
Yes.
I don't count that. It's 7.
Nah, he threw the ball 5 times, but it's 7-4, which in what 7-4? That's 11 games. Last time he played a full season, he won 4 in Houston. Threw 5,000 yards. Like, he won 4. He's won 7. He would have played this week, he would have doubled it. You know what I mean? Like, easily, too, by the way. I'm telling you, we would have easily walked over Pittsburgh if he was in the game. And all he would have had to do was 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, and we would have won that game by like 20. That is a huge difference. Like, tell me right now you weren't watching that game like, dog, if Deshaun was in here, we would have won this game by 27.
Honestly, dog, I was seeing people tweeting, it's like, man, if PJ's in the game, we probably would have won this game. No,
that's cap. That's cap. PJ would have turned that ball over a lot. That's cap. Yeah, PJ would have turned it over. I like PJ. I'm a PJ guy. Nah, PJ wasn't winning you that game. Like, but if Deshaun was in there, yeah, you probably would have won by like 30.
Speaking of games, we got Browns Broncos on Sunday. Hugh, how you feeling about it? Because I don't know.
This is another one of those. Man, it'd be nice if Deshaun was healthy. If Deshaun's healthy, I don't have any worries about this game. But that's not the world we live in. We live in a DTR world. And you know what? I actually think they're going to be okay. Here's why I think they're going to be okay this week.
Please explain it to me because I'm a little worried.
One, if you watch what Russ does, I don't think that shit flies on a good defense. It was a lot of just pop throws. It was a lot of short stuff. It's a lot of shit he's not going to get away with playing the Browns. I think if you can pressure Russ, he's going to get off schedule. He's going to start doing the stuff that makes Russ look cooked, right? Russ looks at his most cooked when he's forced to play out of structure. Brown's going to force him out of structure all game. So I don't think they're going to be able to score on us very often. I worry a little bit about their run game, but it's not like they have any big backs that I'm super worried about, right? I think the big explosive backs, Jaylen Warren's not big, but he runs big. Those guys worry me, right? I think of the 3 backs, Jaleel McLaughlin is probably the one that concerns me the most because he's the one that will force a missed tackle. But I think that they'll be able to handle him. And the Browns usually have like one bad missed tackle game out of every 4 weeks. They had it against Pittsburgh. They'll be fine next week. So I think defensively, they'll be able to slow down the Broncos a lot. And also keep in mind, the Broncos and both the Minnesota Vikings had a ton of turnovers in that game. And And those turnovers are really what kept the Broncos in it. Like, the Vikings should have won that game if they don't have as many turnovers as they did. I don't think the Browns are going to turn the ball over as much as the Vikings. And I think the Browns are going to force some turnovers this week. Russ, I saw some of those throws when I was thinking. I think Denzel Ward gets to that. I think Miles tips that one up. I think the Browns make some plays on that. I think they'll come in locked in and focused because they now know that they have no room for error because they don't have Deshaun back there. I think maybe if Deshaun was here, they would be coming in a little bit relaxed and let like Russ come up with something. But I think they're going to be real focused this week. They're also staying on the West Coast for like the next 2 weeks. So it's another bonding opportunity for this team to rally around DTR. And I just keep going back to Jacoby Brissett and how eerily similar this game was for DTR to Jacoby Brissett's first game in Carolina, right? You know, I remember after that game, a lot of people were calling for Josh Dobbs. A lot of people were calling for Jacoby to be benched. Said he played terrible outside that final drive. But in that final drive, they figured some shit out. And that ended up carrying over to the next week where you had a 14-point lead until Joe Woods happened and you lost that game to the Jets. I don't see Joe Woods happening this year because Joe Woods ain't there no more. And then Jacoby played much better after that. I think the wide receivers need some adjustment to DTR. They need to see what that looked like in the game, how fast he throws the football in the game, because he does have a pretty fast ball that he throws. And it was clearly bugging him early in that game. And I think that they'll be able to open up the offense more because they'll feel comfortable. Again, Jacoby Brissett's first game, they didn't throw anything downfield. They just did basically stick all game. And people were like, that's what the offense is going to look like going forward. No, it's just what the offense is going to look like this week because they're just focused on getting through the game. Next week, they'll add some different elements of it. Okay, they'll play off different things. Are they going to sit on this? We'll give them this look and then try to go hit a couple deep shots over top. DTR is not going to be a great deep ball thrower. He wasn't in college. He's not going to be one in the pros, but he'll be fine enough to keep teams honest. And I do think that, like, underrated in all of this, like in all the negative talk about DTR, man, some of those throws were not backup quarterback throws. Like, I keep going back to if David Njoku just had a better game, how differently are we talking about this?
David dropped some crazy opportunities against Pittsburgh, dog. He had some big play opportunities.
If David Njoku has the game that he normally has, I think you're talking about DTR having like 215 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He did drop that one touchdown. He did drop that one pass that should have been a touchdown.
That was a dot to David Njoku. A absolute dot, I tell you, right? So I think a lot of this is kind of getting overplayed, how badly he was. Like, even the one interception wasn't that bad. It was just like, oh, him and Amari weren't on time. Amari thought the ball was going to come a little bit later than what it came. You know, that's just adjusting. That'll be done over the next couple of weeks and figured out. And I think he was actually like really smart with the football, like really careful with it, made sure he didn't turn it over, only took 1 sack for 2 yards. I think that was really important in that game, right? Not a lot of rookies can do that. We saw what Clayton Tune looked like when he tried to do that shit versus the Browns. Like, it's not every rookie that can do that. I think he made some really nice throws, especially those slants to Coop and to Elijah Moore, where some yak was available because of how perfect those throws were. I think there's some potential with DTR. After watching him, I've come away, I wouldn't say impressed. I don't think it was an impressive game from him, but I think it was a fine enough start to be like, oh yeah, if your plan is to do the Jacoby Brissett plan with him, I see no reason why he can't be that. And he's a plus athlete. Have you ever gotten the time to look at his college stuff?
I actually haven't looked at it, but just from what I saw in that start, I'm like, yo, DTR can move, bro. Like, DTR can move.
So I saw him move, and I was like, I always thought he was athletic, but like, you know how like it be with certain quarterbacks where people just be saying they athletic, like Geno Smith is an athlete or something like. So I just don't be taking it that seriously. But I watched out. Like, I gotta look at his athletic bona fides a little bit harder because I only really watched his throwing stuff at UCLA. Yeah, go search DTR 2022 highlights once you get back there and text me what you think of those, of some of those highlights that you're going to see there. There's some crazy shit in that highlight package that he's doing in the Pac-12, like not a bad conference, in the Pac-12, that will make you rethink. He ran a 4.55. He's a plus athlete at the position. And like real quick, again, I'm dead serious, Cole. Watch that highlight package once we log off and then text me what you think about it. Like we might have to have you watch this live on air or some shit like that. Because it's like
let's do that. Let's have you watch it on air so I can see if I'll be impressed.
Yes. Because we'll put it as a bonus video on Patreon. But it's impressive, right? And I understand it's college and all that, but I was like, oh, I didn't know he was that good of an athlete. And when he's on time, when he's in rhythm, I mean, like, I don't mean to sound dramatic when I say this, but like, that's the kind of stuff that you wish Baker would do in rhythm, where he would just hit those slants like that. And you'd be like, damn, Baker, why is it always like a little high or something like that, right? Remember we had all those problems with Baker in rhythm, but Baker could be real accurate on the run. It's the opposite with him. He's not the most accurate on the run, but boy, in rhythm, oh my God. Like some of those balls just get right there. And I'm like, I think there's a lot more than just a 5th round pick to this kid. And I honestly think that he can take you further than a 39-year-old Joe Flacco. Now, if I end up being wrong on that, that's why Joe Flacco's there. You know, stop the bleeding, put Joe in, see what you can do with that. But at that point, I think that's your last resort. But I think the kid's going to have a good day. Also, something to keep in mind, it's at Denver. He doesn't have the most accurate deep ball in the world. But if there's a place where you could be successful, where you can't throw deep balls naturally, it is Denver. So I do see reason for him to be better. And also, like, this is a West Coast trip. He's a West Coast kid. I think he's going to get a little comfortable in these next 2 games here. And also just not going to have the pressure of playing at home. Like for a young player, that could be a lot of pressure. And, you know, he gets to kind of relax, be in a bubble with his guys, be in a bubble with this team. And I think this team is so tight-knit, close, and supportive that they're going to bring that kid along and be well with him. And I think he's going to play some good enough football down the stretch. And like I walked away from that game feeling like, you know what, man, when it mattered the most, the kid stepped up at a hell of a moment, made some great throws in that last drive. Hey, man, if it was Foe that did that, we would be running that same excuse where we'd be like, hey, man, he stepped up in the end. I don't see why the bar should be any higher for 17. Let's be real. Let's keep it real. Because I don't think 4 would be that bad in the second half for most of it. But, I mean, it ain't off the table, right? Like, we seen him have some bad second halves. And if 4 would have had a game like that, we'd have been like, hey, look, man. Look at those throws on that last drive, right?
Facts. That is facts. That's facts.
So I see no reason not to give 17 the same treatment. But yeah, I walked away thinking there's a lot more to unwrap with him. And I know people are concerned that they're just going to run that same game plan going forward. No, obviously it's going to evolve. It evolved with Jacoby Brissett. It's going to evolve with DTR as the weeks go on. But man, there's seriously some throws in that game where I'm like, they might have something with this fucking kid. Like for real. There were also some moments where I was concerned that the moment was too big for him too, right? Where especially in the third quarter, it looked like he was like, damn, this NFL thing's tough as hell, right? Like you could see it on his face, but he found it in himself with the support on his team to get it done in that moment and grown man and out. And I think that means a lot. Those are kind of moments that make or break somebody's confidence for the rest of their career. And that was a huge moment for him. And I think that I don't know what his ceiling is, and I'm not going to get crazy with it, but I do think his ceiling is high enough that it should justify you sticking with him over Joe Flacco.
So I'm not entirely sure, and I don't know if we intended for this to become a DTR conversation, but it kind of has to be because,
I mean,
the
that's what
season's
we're not worried
on
about
him.
anything else, right? Like,
But him. Yeah.
it's like defense versus the Broncos offense. We feel pretty good about that. It's just, and honestly, running the ball, we feel pretty good about that matchup. It's just, hey, can DTR handle the secondary, right? Because this is a really good secondary. He's going up against Pat Surtain, Justin Simmons, some really good players there in that secondary and that coverage unit for the Broncos. That's what you're going to be worried about. So, honestly, a lot of the conversation, he's the only unknown. It's same thing why the conversation always kind of gravitated towards Deshaun. It's going to be the unknown at the quarterback position that's going to change this game or not.
Yeah, man. Watching that Steelers game, I just kind of felt like one, the game plan was, hey, if you don't turn the ball over against the Steelers, we're gonna win. Like they can't move the ball. They can't move the ball on offense at all. As long as the defense not getting turnovers and scoring points, we're gonna be all right.
Hey, dog. You know they was in that team meeting talking about Kenny Pickett. And you know Kevin ain't the one to say they stink, right? Because some coaches will say they stink. I bet it was hilarious because Kevin out here in the most Ivy League way possible, telling them exactly why we not worried about that offense.
It's the
bring
game
it up.
plan. Honestly, every team's game plan against the Steelers should be to say, hey, if we don't turn the ball over, we're gonna win, dog. Don't let the defense score points or allow them to put points on the board. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. It's the only way they can win games. Najee Harris even said it. He's like, hey man, the way we've been winning games, I'm gonna be real with y'all. We can't keep winning games like that. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for a whole season.
You know what else is not sustainable? Putting Najee Harris on the field. like
yeah, brother, you got some bigger issues you need to worry about.
I was like, right point, wrong person to make that point. Because
I know Jalen
makes some changes.
Jalen Warren be looking like,
yeah, we should make some changes, Najee.
We should make some changes, my dog.
You care to tell Tomlin you shouldn't be playing anymore for me? Like,
also,
poor Jalen Warren, man. Poor Jalen Warren.
How did they not keep giving him the ball?
Hey, dog. Now we know what it felt. Now we know what it felt like to be a team that played the Browns during the Hugh Jackson era when Nick Chubb wasn't getting no run. He would just come in there, run for 40 yards, get taken off. You never see him again. Like, why did he stop going to him? 2 weeks in a row this has happened because it happened with Keaton Mitchell last week too. But
I don't know. I don't know what they'd be thinking about when they play the Browns. Like that.
And you know what? It could happen this week because if somebody gonna do it for the Broncos, it's gonna be Jaleel McLaughlin. And you know who they just be pulling off the field for no damn reason in Denver? You know it because you own him on fantasy. And he from my alma mater. They be pulling Jaleel off the field. He averaged 6.4 a carry. Like, I don't know why he don't be playing more. We're like, we gotta give Samaje Perine his touches.
Yeah, but it's really all on DTR, man. Like he did enough to beat the Steelers, and I think because he had that last drive, he ended up winning the game. You gotta start him in Denver. I just don't know I don't know what he gonna look like, man. I just don't know what he gonna look like, and that's what makes me nervous. The rest, like, how is he gonna play? How is he gonna handle it? With the rest of the Browns schedule, like, they'll be good enough to out-talent some of these teams and get wins, especially defensively. Like, they'll just be good enough to out-talent, like, the Bears.
So Kareem Jackson suspended without pay.
Yeah, he's not playing.
No, suspended without pay for 4 games for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect players' health and safety.
I knew he wasn't playing against the Browns. It's pretty obvious. So that's gonna help because he's actually good. So that's gonna help. Yeah, man, we just got to see what it looks like. I don't know what to expect from him, whether it be positive or negative. So I really just got to see what it looked like on the road in Denver before I think the Browns will end up getting a win just because of the defense, but I have no idea what he's going to look like.
Yeah, I think that's a fair concern, right? Because it's nowhere near a guarantee what he's going to look like. But I'll point out to my Jacoby Brissett point, against Carolina last year, the Browns won that game very close. Jacoby Brissett, 18 of 34, 147 yards. So very similar game to what he had against, and I'm looking at the advanced numbers. Let me go back to the regular splits, but a very similar game to what DTR had, right? You look at average air yard per attempt, it was like 5 yards, 4.9 in that game. Oh, yes. It was very low. And he did have the 1 touchdown if DTR makes that throw if David Njoku catches that ball in the end zone, you get the 1 touchdown. But very similar game. Next week, 22 of 27 versus the New York Jets, a good defense at the time. 229 yards, a touchdown and an interception, a rate of 98. And then that air yards per attempt went from 4.9 to 7.56. Yes. So there is something to like that second start, right? Like where it's like, okay, like you're comfortable. We know what you can do. We're going to game plan. They're going to throw more slants. They're going to throw more of this, and they're going to work stuff off those slants because they know defense is going to be trying to sit on it. And look, DTR doesn't have a cannon, right? I think a cannon is somebody who could throw the ball far, but he does have a pistol. I'll say that, right? Where he can shoot something real quick in short range, right? And he can be very accurate with that ball there. And that's enough in a West Coast offense. But yeah, I think that we're on that kind of program, similar type stuff that you saw with Jacoby. Kevin knows what the fuck he's doing when it comes to this kind of stuff too, man. Like, I just have faith in this front office and Kevin, because if they feel like he could do it, then I think he could do it, because they've been right about this, right? Like, I go back to it, I'm like, hey, man, we all want Jacoby Brissett and Josh Dobbs, but, like, we didn't want them before they played with Kevin, right? Like, we had him last year. None of y'all wanted them. Y'all wanted Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason. He stay a year with Kevin. You see what Kevin could do with them. Oh, we need to bring him back. We got it. It's Kevin, dog. I think it's Kevin. Like, I think Kevin knows what he's doing with this type of stuff, and he knows how to get the most out of these kind of situations, which is why I think he's not really panicking that much. He's like, okay, we're going to have DTR in here. PJ Walker's not the type of quarterback you can run this system with, so he can't be the backup anymore. He's going to go to being inactive or off the roster, and he's going to bring in Joe Flacco because, hey, all else fails, I can get Joe ass to do this. Yeah, that's why I think there's really no panic about the quarterback position, because I really do think Kevin knows what he's doing, and that's why they decided to get rid of Baker, because I don't think Baker trusted that Kevin knew what he's doing. But I think DTR trusts Kevin. I think Joe Flacco knows enough to trust Kevin. As long as they trust Kevin, they're going to be fine. Because Kevin knows what the fuck he's doing. He's done this before. We've done this. We've seen this before. Whether it be Case Keenum, Garrett Gilbert he had throwing there for a game versus the Oakland Raiders?
No, that was Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins, and we thought Nick Mullins looked pretty good in that game. Like, look at the resume, dog. He's done it multiple times with not even mid, right? Because mid be okay. Ass at Reggie. We forgot about the term Reggie, dog. Like, we just be going straight from good, from loud to mid, like Reggie don't exist. Whatever happened to Reggie? See, this young generation done ruined it, because we used to say shit was Reggie back in the day when it was ass, but now we say everything mid. This generation we got all this stuff legalized. They don't even know what they talk about. Now they think mid is bad. They ain't never had to experience shake. Okay.
All right. Hey, all right.
They don't even know what it's like to have to not even grind it. It's just dripping out the packet.
Yo.
look like parsley flakes that you trying to roll up in the
all right.
Yeah, so stop calling everything mid this ass. He had Reggie at quarterback, and he was out here making y'all think that Reggie was mid. Like, I'm just saying, feel like Kevin know what he doing. Anything you care to say to respond to that call?
Nah, man, let's get to the shout-outs.
Tired of yeah.
Let us get to the shout-outs.
We can't talk about Reggie on this show.
I don't think we're supposed to talk about that on this show.
It's It's legal in Ohio now.
Shout out Ohio.
Hey, look, if anybody wants to advertise to an Ohio audience on something that just got legal, like, I feel like this podcast is the perfect place to advertise such a thing. Like, it's 3 hours. People be watching to the end. I know how y'all get to the end. Like, by the way, shout out to all y'all, smoking the pack right now. You know what I mean? Like,
shout out to y'all, man.
Shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? Who really got them last few jokes that we did there? It's like, right here in the comment section to correct us on some, on some terms around the edges that we might have missed out on. Like, you're like, actually, man, this ain't what you thought it was. This is actually what you were referring to. Like, hey, don't nobody know more about weed than people who smoke it. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like,
man, tell me about it. Break down everything.
Hey, look, scholars, I tell you, scholars. I don't ever give no misinformation around a veteran. You know what I mean? They gonna know. Like,
veteran is crazy.
Yeah, man. He been in the league 5-6 years, dog. Like, he been in the league since he was 16. Like, he gonna know. Or she.
Or she.
Hey. Shout out to my cousin. But shout out to, I gotta give was it anime character drawers or something? Like animation people. Anybody who works in animation, I'm gonna give y'all my shout out. Y'all know, and when I say select anime community shout outs, the people who work behind the scenes on anime. Oh, y'all cool. Y'all in there.
Honestly, dog, I see somebody in the comments. Man, shout out to everybody who produce shows. Shout out to everybody who work on TV shows, who work in the background, who don't get love, who don't get to shine. The producers, the audio producers, the cameramen, or women, social media producers, all
that is hilarious that we have an audience of people who work in production, but we can't find a producer. Like,
hey man, we ain't trying to give y'all more work. This podcast be 3 hours.
They just be like, I like watching train wrecks. Like,
it's like, man, you ain't gotta work on this stuff. It's actually kind of entertaining.
I know, right? It's a good vibe, right? Maybe we should let the podcast run. But shout out to all my homies out there working hard, getting the check, everybody getting paid bi-weekly. Shout out to my monthly pay stub people. Hey man, it's a tough life, dog. I understand it. Hey,
tough life.
Life I live. You two don't pay but monthly.
Hey man, you got a budget. God damn.
Like, I've gotten real good at Excel since I started this job. Like, shout out to all my tutorial people. Shout out to all my tutors. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
like, shout out to the tutors. Yes. Yes. You know what I mean? Shout out to them tutors, man.
That's a thankless job.
Filling the cracks. Being a tutor is truly being the Chris Bosh of the education system, right? Because everybody shout out their mama, everybody shout out their teacher. Don't nobody shout out the tutor that help them learn some subjects. You know what I mean? Like, you helped me with Calc 2 a little bit, but you gave your credit to Miss Simmons. I understand. You know what I mean? Yeah. I gave you that mental work piece to help you figure out some of these formulas, but you know what? Shout out to Miss Simmons. Shout out to Miss Simmons helping you with the subject. She told you to get the tutor, and your mama told you to get the tutor. But yeah, they are truly the Chris Bosh of that big three.
Hey, shout out all the EMS workers. You know what I'm saying? We'll always go shout y'all out. Shout out all the nurses. Shout out to the CNAs, the LPNs, the RNs. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all of y'all who be listening to us on your shift. Will you be bored?
Shout out. You know what? Shout out to my nail techs. It's a demographic that people don't show love to when it comes to sports. But I feel like y'all got a lot of time. Y'all be listening. Somebody be listening. Somebody listen. Look. Women watch football more than y'all think, dog. Like,
shout out to all the people who do hair. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the barbers. Shout out to all the ladies who be doing hair, charging too much. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. They gotta go see somebody. You know what I'm saying? They gotta go see somebody.
Oh yeah, shout out to the barbershop. You know what I mean?
Shout out to the barbershop, always.
Shout out to all my barbers who got online appointment setups. Like I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? Like I don't like calling, interacting with people to get my haircut appointment. I like just showing up, putting something online. I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to the Cut app.
Shout out to the barbers. Shout out to the barbers who keep the prices under control. Shout out to y'all, man.
I can't truly, shout out. My barber prices is ridiculous.
Hey, shout out to the barbers that only went up with inflation. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little bit more, but not that much. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more.
You know, and shout out to my barbers who give you them extras once the haircut get over $45. You know what I mean? Like give you that bacon, that Beijing, you know what I mean? Like start giving you that extra, you know, give you the hot knife. Hey, shout out to y'all. You know what I mean? Shout out to all my barbers out here, you know, with the premium experience. I like that, you know, a little booth, TV, like it. Shout out to all of my Uber drivers out here. Yes. My Uber Eats drivers, my DoorDash drivers, you know what I mean? Making sure the food come. Shout out to y'all.
Don't forget Instacart. Don't forget Instacart too, man.
Oh yeah, for you people who too lazy to do your own grocery shopping. Shout out to Instacart people, you know what I mean? Shout out to the people who do Instacart. Not shout out to the people who can't go to Aldi's for 25 minutes. Okay? Like, unless you got kids. If you got kids, I get it. But if you just single out here, just not going to Aldi's, you just lazy, dog. Like I don't know what to do with that. But everybody can go to Squad. Still Toe Squad, always. They a permanent shout out. They in the permanent shout out list. Shout out to all my aunties out there. You know what I mean? Like just all aunties. Yeah, we showing out. Hey, look, don't nobody go harder for their sports team than an auntie that fuck with her sports team. Like, let me tell you that. Hey, don't nobody get up like auntie, dog. Like, if your auntie roots for your high school team, she will be in the stands 10 years after you retired from football. Talk about some, hey, that's still my Lobos. Like, hey. Don't nobody go harder for their sports teams than aunties who have a connection to the team, dog. Like, let me tell you, you see an auntie at a Browns game and she got Browns gear on and her glasses is orange. Hey, don't get no argument with her. She will fight you and kill you for this team, dog.
Shout out to aunties, for sure.
Yes. See, we always be giving uncles shout out. Uncles ain't shit compared to the auntie that be at the game. She got to fight the uncles, she got to fight the uncles, the parents, and the coaches. Nah, she battle tested. Okay, like battle tested.
Battle tested.
Yeah. By the way, man, athletes, shout out your tutors and your aunties more often because I feel like they part of that journey too. I don't ever hear no athlete come off the field. You know, shout out to my tutor. I know those tutors be working hard as hell, dog.
Super hard.
You be graduated like 2 years so you can get in the transfer portal. I know them tutors working hard as hell. You can shout out your tutor.
Shout out your tutors, man.
Shout out your tutors. Shout out your tutors and shout out your aunties.
Oh yeah. Also, shout out all the new subscribers. We love y'all. Shout out Browns Reddit. Man. I'm shouting out Browns, but don't make that face. They posted.
Did they shout us out? Okay.
There. Shout out Browns Reddit.
Okay.
Browns Reddit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I heard it's a crazy place, but shout out Browns Reddit.
I just remember the holder theory came from Browns Reddit. Even though Browns Reddit did show me love back in the day, they also show my boy Vach Lombardi love. So yeah, shout out to Browns Reddit. Shout out to Browns. You know, let me let go of that. Yeah, y'all was wrong about the holder situation, but shout out to Browns Reddit. I would just say that was Kicker Reddit. That wasn't Browns Reddit.
Yeah, we're gonna put that on Browns Reddit.
And you know what? You can't just say just because one person in the Reddit had a bad opinion, because it's Reddit, dog. It's soldiers on the other side fighting that war. Okay, like it's somebody on the other side holding it down there. You know, shout out to you. But all in all, shout out to all of our listeners, anybody who gets to the end of these. Shout out to all of my people. Shout out to anybody who's been watching for a while. Shout out to those of y'all who used to catch Colb in the spaces. You still do the spaces with Chops, don't you?
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody who caught us in the spaces, man. Who still catch us in the spaces, because we be doing the post game ones. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Y'all know I love y'all.
Y'all love some of them.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I heard some spaces. I heard those spaces.
Where you go pop into space, Q? Where you go pop into space, Q?
I be busy after the games, to be honest. I gotta do the Bleacher Report stream, and after I do the Bleacher Report stream, I gotta get back and edit another video so I get that thing out there. By the time I do all that, y'all be done, dog. I don't be having time to get in there. We gotta work something out so I can have y'all pop up while I do the BR stream or something like that. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna have to be coordinated. The brother is busy. You know,
we gotta pop up in the BR stream. That's what we gotta do.
Y'all gonna I'm gonna have to use the screen share feature to get y'all in there. Something like, I don't know. Yeah, we gotta figure it out. The logistics ain't logisticking right now. You know what I mean? I used to pop in, right? Back when I had more free time. You know what I mean? Every once in a while. I just don't got that free time no more, dog. Like, success has made me busy. But I'm thankful for that success. But yes. Shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to everybody in chat. Shout out to everybody who comments. Shout out to the people who leave less than nice comments, because you know what? You cared enough to say something. You know what I mean? Like if you thought our podcast was completely ass, you wouldn't critique it. You just skip it. But you thought that there was enough potential there to please.
You know what the less than nice comments be doing? They be saying, "Wow, this podcast has so much potential. If only you guys would stop."
If only you guys would have talked about R&B for 45 minutes in the middle of the podcast. How are we talking about LeBron?
It was my favorite comment. I was like, okay, so podcast not ass. At least we not ass.
We're just very unrefined.
Telling you, we need a producer, man. We need our Ernie Johnson.
Hey, man. We need somebody to step in.
Well, where's our Mike Greenberg?
We need a head coach.
We need our Kevin Stefanski.
Yes, we are just a mismatch of talent at this point. Like, we need an offense to run. That's what we need. We just be out here doing shit. Like, but I appreciate all of y'all who leave comments. For real. Because again, if you thought it was a terrible podcast, you wouldn't leave a comment. Even if it's a negative comment, it's usually in one direction or the other. You're trying to help the show be better. Don't go too far with it though, because you start getting disrespectful. No, it's like,
hey, shout out to everybody who comments, because y'all comments be hilarious, and I be putting them on Twitter because
dog, we gotta do a whole episode one day in the summer that's just us reading these comments from the Deshaun Watson injury one. Like,
oh my god, dog.
Then we gotta do that.
Oh man, it'd be making me want to just give everybody a question just so they can answer it.
We got to get that voicemail line, man. We got to get that voicemail line.
Oh, I got a question. Hey, you remember what Draymond did? You remember what Draymond did to Rudy?
Yeah, he choked him.
They gave him a 5-game suspension for that. No, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to ask that question, because I was going to ask people, hey, if you could choke somebody out and get away with it, who would it be? And I was like, nah, man, we might get some wild answers.
I don't think we want those answers.
No, we don't want them answers. We good. Never mind.
You saw what I tweeted after that.
No, you sick. You was sick because you was like, it should have been cat.
Tell me it wouldn't have been 10 times funnier if that was cat in that chokehold tapping out again. Tapping out again. Sick. Ben remember when Cat
already got him down. I was like, no, he is sicko for that, because that's crazy.
It should have been Cat.
Hey, Rudy ain't do nothing. Rudy did not deserve that, bro. Rudy did not deserve that. He was trying to be a
nobody deserved to get choked out. Nobody did. That just happened.
Hey, Draymond been
this is why we have potential and don't have haven't lived up to the potential, because we out here talking about Draymond Green choking out somebody. This is not on the rundown, Cole.
Tell me, we need a producer.
All right, we need to have our wages garnished by the hour or something like that. That way we be more efficient. But y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Colb, you got anything else to say to the people before you head out?
Hey, man, be nice to each other. Be kind to people. Stay off the internet as much as you can. Ain't nothing good happens on the internet except our show.
And Reddit and all the internet-based things that we shouted out.
Yeah, man. Maybe cut that part. Just say be kind to people. Be nice to people.
Be kind to people on the internet. See, just being kind to people on the internet.
On the internet. On the internet. Do that.
It's the holiday season. You don't know who lonely. You know what I mean? Who not celebrate the holidays like they thought they would. Be kind. Rewind. All that shit.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hold on. That's the question. What's your favorite side in the Thanksgiving pie? What's your favorite side?
Favorite thing to eat on Thanksgiving. Your favorite side.
Also, I got to give a G check out there. Sliced cranberry sauce from the can or real homemade cranberry sauce? Where you at? Where you at?
Man, I feel like I'm gonna get judged, but I grew
I'm judging.
I grew up on the can, man. I grew up on the can. That's
that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. You know what I mean? That you would have told me you would grew up with the regular stuff. I'm like, all right, well, Colb and me come from two different worlds. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I ain't that far removed. All right. That's why I like, it's canned. Slice the can, lead the ridges. You know what I mean? Exactly. I want the ridges. I want the ridges on my cranberry sauce. If I don't see my ridges, I ain't putting it on my fucking plate. I'm not about to get this lumpy jello looking like cranberry sauce. It's all jacked up and shit. Like, nah. I don't want no actual cranberries in my cranberry sauce. I want them ridges. That's what I want. Ridges. I want it to look like you went cranberry sauce. Put it in a glass plate. Yes.
Also, the public service announcement. Dressing and stuffing are not the same thing. It is not the same thing at all. One is significantly better than the other one. Y'all can figure that one out.
Hey man, shout out to what's the boy? I forget the dude's name every time. He played for the Lions. He do the film breakdown stuff on ESPN.
Dan Orlovsky?
Yes. You hear that man say he had no idea what sweet potato pie is?
Oh, yeah. He said
we're not going to get into a whole conversation about it. Yeah, he said, get it out of here. Whatever it is, get it the heck out of here. I was like, two Americas, bro. Two Americas. That's all we got to say about it. It's two Americas. Hey.
Two Americas.
And I guess Dan was kicking it with his offensive lineman. Like, because let me tell you something, Joe Burrow know what sweet potato pie is.
Guarantee you he know what sweet potato pie is.
I promise you that. I promise you. Joe Burrow knows what that is. You know, Kenny Pickett might be on that Dan Orlovsky program. I don't know much about the young fella. But Joe Burrow, yeah. Lamar Jackson, he know about something deeper than sweet potato pie, dog. I bet he got
I know he eat good on Thanksgiving. I know he eat good on Thanksgiving.
He got the smoker out in his backyard. Like, I know. You know somebody could cook when they cook barefooted outside. Like, I feel like Florida's full of dudes who cook outside barefooted. Like, and Lamar Jackson is very Florida. Very, very Florida. Like,
oh, man. Oh, Lord.
You know, Deshaun Watson strikes me as a cranberry sauce guy. Like, not a cranberry can guy.
100%.
Yeah, he strikes me as like he trying to act like it's different. Like, bro, just get the can. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Tell us your favorite sides in the comments, man. Tell us your favorite sides in the comments. And your favorite food. Favorite main dish and favorite sides on Thanksgiving. We want to know.
And what time do y'all be eating?
That's a great question.
Yeah. What time do y'all be eating on Thanksgiving? All right. Now that we've asked all these questions.
Different question. This is a different question. Do y'all eat on time or not during Thanksgiving? It's going to let me know everything I need to know about who the commenters are. Do y'all eat on time?
Bro, we ain't trying to do a census. Like, all right, show's over. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.